Welcome, everybody, for tuning in to Runeterra Academy's Junior Semifinal Series. We bring to you today, I'm Sun Praising alongside these Tigers. Probably should clarify that first. Welcome in, Tiger.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about this matchup. We've made it to semifinals.
We're all the way here. I know, it's crazy. We've been here for God knows how long at this. Well, actually, the whole season, I suppose. But our matchup today is between OMT Chronos and Return to the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. And if there's one thing about the Middle Sticks and both organizations, both Middle Sticks rosters that have made the semifinals last week, they both reverse swept. So
yeah, we definitely can expect Crowstorm to have a lot of fight in them coming into this week. We've got a moment here to talk about the two teams, so let's do that. First off, on the blue side, starting out here in game number 1 is the 1 seed OMT Chronos. Season 1 champions. They've got the same roster back. They changed it up a little bit for Season 2, but they've returned their Season 1 roster here, going now by the name of OMT Chronos. We've got probably the overall tournament favorites here and one of the best teams Runeterra Academy Junior has ever seen. And on the other side, we've got Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm, who came in as a 4 seed, 4-3 throughout the regular season. Not any high expectations on them going into playoffs, but they got that round 1 upset over Ouroboros Gaming, and it's been all snowballing towards this point. They got that reverse sweep last week as well versus Team Shadow Specters, and now they're here on the semifinal stage. It's kind of a David versus Goliath matchup here, son.
Yeah, and well, for Crowstorm, I mean, you could really say that about almost every single series they've played up until this point. Definitely a really big surprise that they've managed to sneak their way, or not necessarily sneak. That's kind of downplaying their achievements, but make their way into the this far into the playoffs. And well, this will more than likely be their biggest test yet, but they haven't let themselves down so far. So, I can't rule them out completely.
Yep, Crowstorm kind of been a much better roster since they added Data in the jungle. Getting some extra carry potential there has been big for them, and that's been kind of some of the catalyst of them getting into these situations where they can take games off of bigger teams. Even series, as we start to get into the draft here, definitely going to be expecting Crowstorm to try to ban out Acid. This has been a staple of Runeterra Academy all along. Just try to limit the pool for Acid. He's been a big carry as well. So we've got a big matchup in the jungle here. Already 3 junglers banned out, but definitely going to be focusing around that jungle role to see who can get the early advantage here in this series. Yeah,
and obviously Acid versus Data is going to be one of the more premier matchups, but if there's anything worth noting is that on the side of Return of the Middle Sticks, both Vibon and X-Craze both faced a lot of bans towards them on specifically the Ahri and Shin, and if they're going to be focused around banning out junglers, as we've mostly seen here so far, then that might leave some picks open across the map that a few of the other players you don't want to, you just can't write off at this point, especially this late into the playoffs, that can get more comfort picks that they might have not otherwise been ready to get, as Zeri's the first locked in for OMT Chronos.
Yeah, we see this Ahri ban here from Return of the Middle Sticks. I mean, Ahri, a champ that has been one of the top for both of the mid laners, so definitely going to be heavily contested here in this series. Zeri and Jinx have been kind of a handshake trade-off by a lot of teams throughout the early stages of Season 12 here. Just 2 of the best hyper carry ADCs. Definitely looking at a late game team fight sort of comp being built around these champs. Obviously, you can go different directions depending on what the rest of the draft plays out like, but that's the initial sense that I'm getting from both of these teams, and I would love to see some big team fights throughout this series.
Yeah, that's for sure, but with Syndra being the lock-in for Crowstorm, maybe not the most late game scaling mid laner ever. And we see that'll also hand the counter pick over to the side of OMT Chronos, which, I mean, I guess if they want to prioritize Syndra just so X-Craze can get one of his more common picks in the mid lane, I do understand that aspect of it. But at the same time, I mean, generally when you have Jinx, you kind of also want to pair it alongside more defensive support. And I would have liked to see a little bit of a pause on there to get the right option as Mordekaiser is locked in for OMT Chronos.
Yeah, Kenrick has been playing a lot of big carry champions this split. Mordekaiser definitely being one of those top champions. Definitely changes the look of a lot of team fights, especially around objectives. You can put the enemy jungler away. I mean, something that I've seen recently a lot as a counter pick to Mordekaiser, or like a cross map counter, is Sylas. I don't think we've seen a lot of that from Viban. Viban definitely playing a lot of weak side. Shen makes a lot of sense here. Just going to be able to match up decently against Mordekaiser in lane. I think Mordekaiser should eventually win that matchup, but early levels Shen should feel alright, and then once you get to level 6, then you can split push without having to worry about missing out on a team fight. You can just stand united and join the squad, and I think that that's a nice supportive champion to go along with this Jinx pickup for Benji Peach.
Yeah, Viban's been this whole season actually has been mostly playing Shin and Norn, a lot of weak side champions, and so even though on his specific role rating he doesn't exactly score all that high, he does often get involved more often than most other top laners in general when it comes to kill participation. So yeah, I do like this Shin pick. I believe it was banned against him in almost every game that has been played, and if not, it's been locked in by Crowstorm. But either way, continuing on through the draft, we currently see Volibear, Graves, and Kha'Zix taken out, so a little bit more focus on that jungle pool getting limited even more.
Yeah, definitely both junglers feeling the pressure here. The pool's getting pretty deep. I mean, we may be looking at something like a Gwen. Diana got banned out earlier, but I think that that's a pick that I expect to be banned out a lot by Crowstorm. But now I'm trying to look through my notes, see what else we might see here. Udyr's been picked up before by Data, as well as let me see, Nocturne is banned. I gotta remember what all's banned because there's so many.
There's been a lot of jungle bans, so that's fair. There's actually been a total of, well, I mean, Graves is a flex pick, especially with Kenrick, but yeah, seven jungle bans as we see. I do like the support pickup here from Return to the Middle Sticks. Wait to get that final counter pick, and in a role that you already have. And I know that Garithar played a lot of Nautilus throughout the season, and very much a Nautilus enjoyer, and as a result, we'll see the Leona matching that as a pick.
Yeah, we've got very heavily mirrored comps here. We've got the Leona Nautilus, very similar roles. Jinx and Zeri, they don't quite do the same thing. Zeri's got a decent bit more mobility, but both of them filling that hyper carry sort of role. And then Shen and Mordekaiser both feel good in that solo lane. Don't expect to see a lot of prio towards that. It's going to be the Kindred here for Acid.
Yeah, that I face kind of lit up there, just like, oh, Kindred would be exciting. And actually, hold on, if they do lock in Gragas here on the side of Return to the Middle Sticks, Explosive Cask when Lamb's Respite goes down can really spread out a team. And yeah, I really do like that Gragas pick as a final counter.
Yeah, so just a couple of big front-to-back team fight comps here. I think that the extra engage for E-Girl Vendor with the Vex is going to feel really nice for Omega Titan. But I think that both teams play a style that is going to allow us to just see who can execute better here. I don't think that there's a big advantage either way in draft. I'm really excited to see Kenrick on this Mordekaiser. Haven't gotten to see Chronos too many times this split, but I always enjoy watching our Season 1 champions. And Kenrick often showing up in the chat as well, so I've gotten to hear a lot from him, but now we get to see him on the map. playing that signature Mordekaiser pick. And I think that should be pretty quiet early on. I mean, it's not difficult to see a Gragas ganking, but I don't think that there's a lot of heavily gankable lanes unless you start seeing roams coming out from Garithar, maybe towards this mid lane. But I think that once we see the level 6s come through, that's when the map is just going to explode. There should be a lot more fighting once we get to that point. And I'm really excited to see how this one turns out.
Yeah, you're mentioning the Garithars and both. I mean, it comes down to both supports being on those more roam heavy kind of affect the map sorts of supports. So they're obviously big fans of the more engage focused tanks. Thereby also big Leona fan, Nautilus as well as Garithar with the Nautilus and Amumu throughout this season. They're, as you said, practically identical, but you're saying with the support moving up, the bot lane might not necessarily be in terms of like searching for kills in the 2v2, but being able to get priority and get that recall might be able to unlock the map for whoever does get that in this upcoming match, or even series as a whole.
Yeah, I like your focus around prio here because I think that there's a lot of opportunity for both sides to look towards getting some early objectives, but it does depend heavily on who's going to get that prio, especially towards the bot lane. If we want to see one of the sides start looking towards those drakes getting stacked up. Of course, Kindred forces out a lot of invades, so seeing some roams from thereby also would be pretty expected here. I think that there's going to be a lot more focus here in Game 1, at least on the Rift Heralds than on the Drakes. I think that getting that big gold advantage would be a lot more helpful than even you get the first 2 Drakes, unless it's like a Hextech Soul. So it's always a little bit of a roll of the dice there to see what it's going to be. But I think that if we see a lot of priority around the first Rift Herald, don't be surprised, and then trying to funnel that gold into the ADCs once you can secure some objectives is what I expect to see out of these two teams.
Well, it's always good to set expectations and to see things in fans to get prepared, but on the same time, I mean, how many times have we seen our expectations get completely blown out of the water and just like completely like who knows what goes on after a certain point? But yeah, I do mostly agree with that. So we do have that to look forward to in Game 1, but we are going to submit to a break as we are in the spectator delay, and we'll see you when we have loaded onto the Rift. have loaded onto the Rift for game 1 of our junior semifinals between OMT Chronos and Return to the Middle Sticks. It looks like we're not really going to get too much action in this first one. All the action behind Acid straight away, trying to just get a little bit of poke down, but we got probably a few moments of kind of silence the Phil. So.
Yeah, I think that we can make a few quick notes here. First of all, Eagle Bender taking Ignite on the Vex. Going to be looking maybe a little bit more towards lane here. Of course, double teleports in the solo lanes coming through from Return of the Middle Sticks. Going to mean that they're looking more towards the late game. Kind of an interesting choice to go with teleport on Shen. A lot of the times I expect Shen to take Ignite and then be able to join team fights through that Stand United. But with the teleport, you got the option to join a team fight and then immediately get back out to the side lane. So that does bring some extra utility and map pressure alongside it. However, that means it will be a little bit weaker in lane against Kenrick on this Mordekaiser. In the bot lane, we've got Exhaust Ignite for Brooks and thereby also the two combat sums. Going to be looking towards maybe going for some early kills. Got the Leona, of course, has the power to look for some all-ins at early levels. But on the other side, Cleanse coming through from Benji Peach, going to just be trying to avoid getting 100 to 0'd in stun lock, so very understandable there. As far as runes go, not anything too exciting going on. Got Predator here for Data, so maybe going to be looking for a little more early ganks than I had expected in the draft phase. But other than that,
invade from Acid, Zeta's going to flash away with the priority that Eagle Bender has here. You just might find some early kills. Fly over the blast cone. Data goes down. So first blood going over to the side of OMT Chronos. As I would imagine, Acid probably picks up that first mark, but all the while yet we're going to go back in again. Garthar and Benji Peach trying to find maybe a return kill, but with four members of the side OMT Chronos in that jungle, perhaps not the most ideal decision making, and as a result we've seen 2 early kills going on to OMT Chronos.
Yeah, and that was very decisive from Chronos. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. Eagle Bender getting that priority in the mid lane was huge. Acid able to pull off the invade. And Data flashes, but in a direction where he's got no help. Doesn't know necessarily that Eagle Bender has already rotated that direction, so the first blood goes over. And then just trying to salvage the situation by trying to counter the invade. But it was a 4-on-2 really there in the top of the bottom side jungle, and that means that it's Chronos taking the first 2 kills of the fight.
Yeah, in this match, and really there was one thing that we pointed out is OMT Chronos, one of the favorites to win the whole entire tournament. However, Kenrick just might be caught out here. Data up into the game with the Predator. Kenrick going low, quite down. Maybe Flash Forward from Viban ends up picking up the kill. However, Acid will be there as the tower shot takes down. Flash Forward though, trying to look for 2. I don't believe he'll be able to get too much more. Data looks like already out and can away. I believe that not much more will come from that counter at the top lane.
Yeah, I like the early aggression here from Data trying to find a winning position.
Oh wait, hold on. Garthar trying to find his way in. Not quite. Sorry. Wait, thereby also is on Chronos Spring. Hello?
Yeah.
No, but that's either side. Once again, thereby also using that team's play very aggressively, trying to find an engage. But yeah, no. You were saying, I agree?
Yeah. On the top side of the map, kill coming through. Going over to Viban, so that means Viban going to be feeling pretty decent in this lane. Shen, definitely a strong lane pick in the early stages, able to nullify those auto attacks.
Gone thereby also is getting really deep there without much mana left. Might take a lot of damage in return. Probably not the best decision as... I got a question. Do you think it's Brooks or is it Strooks? Because, you know, the German symbol, I don't actually know the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought about that. I thought about that for a second. I'm pretty sure that it's just supposed to be Brooks, but Uh, it is a good note that is the German S, double S
Yeah, the double
symbol,
S.
but
I don't know the exact name of it, but yeah.
I believe it's Brooks. We can check in the chat if we got some extra information there, but I think that for now we're seeing some trading going down in that bottom lane, thereby also feeling pretty aggressive, but knows that it's a time that you want to see a reset coming out from Benji Peach, so maybe
Wait,
feeling
hold
more
on, we've
confident.
got a fight over here. Smite going to be claiming the first Hex Tech Drake for OMT Chronos as Blender in the bot lane gets that first kill. However, Acid's already very low, and that'll be a shutdown going over to X-Craze. The Wild once again in this bottom lane. Benji Peach will be taken down by Brooks, though Brooks kind of in a very difficult way. No, he's playing Zarya, that's right. Oh, wow. All right. Oh, X-Craze trying to find that one kill. Now having to flash over as he's gone very low. Very dangerously low, though. He will be able to make it out there. So all these low health bars, yet only a couple kills, or actually 3 coming in that skirmish in the bottom lane.
Yeah, 2 for 1 in favor of Chronos. Once again, they're in a good spot now. They've gotten to the mid game. Eager defenders in a very powerful spot. X-Gray's able to pick up a kill as well, though. Gonna be scaling up just a little bit. Definitely waiting to see that level 9 come through on the Syndra. That's where the true power starts to come up. But the unleashed power able to pick up the kill. Good timing on the level 6 to rotate. And now Acid
Data doesn't have the smite, so we'll lose that red buff, and actually it's just going to head away, and probably rightly so, low on health and mana and down a level. We'll wait for the rest of his team to try to maybe find a little bit of resistance here. No Lamb's Respite just yet for Acid, and he's gone low. Data perhaps not all that ready, but Viban with Standing Knight will find that kill as the Dredge line now locks up Kinrick, and this just might be an early 2 kills for the side of Crowstorm. And there it is, Viban picking up that next kill as well. So really feeling great in this top half of the match for the side of Return to the Middle Sticks.
Yeah, all the while, thereby also got a kill on Benji Peach. So I'm not sure exactly how that happened. Not many flashes available for anyone on the map, honestly, here. Acid able to pull off the invade, steal away the red buff, but doesn't find the mark. I believe it was on the rafters instead. And then just doesn't have any way back out. Tries to go back to the river, but a good roam from Garithar is able to nullify that. And 2 kills going
hold on,
over.
we're going to Brazil in the top lane. So no more minion aggro going to be helping Viban as Kinrick picks up the solo kill.
Yeah, that's big for Kenrick. Started off a little bit rough, got picked on by some ganks. Data. Now we've got an invade. This is going to be a fight.
Also, a bit of a strange spot. However, Garithar is going to go low, finally being taken down by Acid, and we're still going through Benji Peach, taken down by Eagle Blender. So once more, it's going to be 2 quick kills going over to the side of OMT Chronos towards this bot half the map. We kind of have a sort of a split map situation where Return to the Middle Sticks feeling good in that top. Well, actually, not in, before that solo kill that just transpired, and OMT Chronos really dominating his bottom half of the map. So as we go on through this matchup, we might see. Hopefully, I would expect Middle Sticks trying to pick up that Rift Herald, but until then, well, we've got ourselves a very, very split map.
Yeah, a pretty deep invade there, and kind of invades coming through on both sides of the map. Acid, of course, playing the Kindred, always a champion that looks towards those invades, but I think that Chronos has been playing very well around it. In that case, though, I think that Return of the Middle Sticks able to at least get one back. It looked to be a very dangerous ult coming through from Egro Bender, able to get onto the back line, pick up a kill onto Benji Peach, but a good unleashed power coming through from X-Craze, able to take the kill and at least rebuff the enemy mid laner.
Situation here does flash away as he spots Acid on that pink ward. So we'll get that Summoner spell out in the top half of the map, and thereby also has already roamed up all the way to this Rift Herald. So I was saying I was expecting to maybe see Crowstorm try to pick that up, but reality doesn't always go as planned.
Yeah, I mean, they had that fight on the bottom side of the map. They had a couple extra members near the top side, but I think that when you look at the gold lead, it makes a lot of sense that it's very difficult to take an objective when you're behind by 3,500 gold. It's been Chronos building up these early advantages, Acid going for a lot of deep invades, able to take away a lot of camps, as we can see a 30 CS lead developing in the jungle. Not always the place where you'd expect to see such a large gap this early on, but Acid doing a lot of good work there, as well as picking up some kills.
Yeah, and you say that normally we don't expect to see such a large CS difference in that mid lane. Blender will decide to go all the way in on that. Gets X-Craze very low, but I don't know if that's the target he wants, as Garthar is going to get that kill onto the Vex. That being said, this fight isn't quite over yet. Garthar using the Dredge line to find the kill there. Data going low. Stand United used. Now he goes into stasis. I believe that cancels that, or was there a pull in top lane? No. In the top lane, he was sent into the Death Realm, so that will be the reason why Viban doesn't come through. And as a result, that'll be Data being taken down without any support from that top laner coming through. So very good awareness from Kenrick to prevent that movement down from his opposing laner.
Yeah, and that was really deep, too. That was behind the tower, and Kenrick's able to pick that off. So great awareness there to know what the situation was, to set up the fight. And what seemed to be kind of a troll engage coming through from Bender got a lot of damage down, and the cleanup crew just comes in. It's Brooks and Acid looking to find the kills on the back end of the fight, and they just come through with flying colors. They're able to pick up their second Drake of the game. We've got Mountain Soul on the map, so a couple more, and they get those shields to help out those early Drakes, also giving a little bit of stats. That's always nice. And I think that right now it's just all OMT Chronos, so they're in a very good spot. They've got to be happy with where they are. First items starting to come through in the carry positions. 3-0-5 for Brooks after that fight, so after not having a ton of kills going down in the bot lane compared to some of the other places on the map. Now Brooks definitely online here, going to be looking very dangerous going into the next fights.
Speaking of fights coming down, Acid's going to have to use that Lamb's Respite. Data not going to be using that. Actually, his explosive cast wasn't ready. It was on cooldown, but I guess it won't matter as Ivan picked up that kill. X-Craze manages to find one kill before he goes down, and double kill going on to that onto the Eagle Bender as he goes low, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Kenrick trying to find the execution onto Viban, but won't get anything further there for now. That being said, both these teams are positioning very dangerously around in the mid lane, especially as this wave crashes into the tower. Viban staying around though. Now he will start to head away. Probably just
Nice blast cone there from Viban, able to find his way onto Acid, pick up that kill. But Bender able to find the Shadow Surge onto the back line, able to go onto X-Craze with that, and then use that dash to get in range of finishing off Data, able to finish off X-Craze as well. So big double kill coming through there from Bender, and now that means that the first tower is going to go down. They're going to maybe get a second charge off the Herald as well, so that's pretty big there, getting a lot of use out of that early objective, and the gold lead up over 5,000 now.
Yeah, we're not even at the 15-minute point, and yet all over the map, with the exception of top lane, it's been just all OMT Chronos, and even though Viban's been at least in the 1v1 matchup over Kenrick, doing fairly all right. You have to question how much that'll really matter at the end of the day when everyone else around the map has such a massive gold lead. However, we got 3 members moving towards the spot lane, thereby also will find Garthar to get his way out. But now they're going to change priority onto Brooks. He's getting snared up, and I don't believe there's much else he can do as he gets CC'd into oblivion. Shut down going on to Benji Peach. That's going to be a lot of gold going to go into the pocket on this Jinx, so maybe Storm start to be able to become a little bit more relevant in this game, especially as sitting on that Noon Quiver alone. I'm not quite sure how much gold he's sitting on currently, but we're scratch that, thereby also going low. Won't be able to go. Actually, there he is now. the Shadow Surge trying to find Benji Peach on back in that fight. So 1-for-1 underneath the bot lane tier 1 tower in that second half of that little excursion. That being said, Kinrick has teleported down, maybe trying to find any remnants of this fight, but will not be able to.
Yeah, both teams sending a lot of resources there. A 2-for-1 in favor of Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. They're going to feel decent about that. Getting some extra gold onto Benji Peach is pretty big here. Gale Force going to be complete. Benji Peach having a rough early stage of the game, but now with that first item online, going to be doing a little bit more damage. Gale Force giving some extra mobility as well.
I mean, he has a pink ward, there it is, but I mean, he's level 7 up against a really nicely leveled Kinrick, and so now in the Death Realm, he's just going to be deleted. Not much you can really do in that situation. Currently starting off this fight, 1 kill going with OMT Chronos. I don't believe there'll be too much else in this exchange as both teams start to walk away now.
Man, it really sucks when you're a support and you can't even sit on a control ward in your own side of the jungle. But that is the case right now for Garethar after picking up that bot lane tier 1 as well as the top lane tier 1 finished off. That means that all 3 outermost towers are down in favor of OMT Chronos. They'll be looking to push towards those tier 2s next. We got Rift Herald back on the map now, as well as Drake has just spawned. This is the 3rd Drake of the game. If it can be taken by OMT Chronos, they'll be one away from goal.
Spitting this all the way in, and he's going to get stumped up, probably going to go down very early on here. That being said, there he goes. Finally, Lamb's Respite will be knocked out by the explosive cast, so that'll be Vivan getting that kill onto the enemy jungler. And this is currently a 1-for-1 in and around this Drake. So I don't believe this fight
no smite.
Neither teams have smite. And now there it is, thereby also trying to find the engage, but now countered. It's currently a 2-for-2. Benji Peach using his Gale Force to pick up that kill. Once more, Alvarez sitting very low, not quite done just yet. Data and Benji Peach hardly have any health remaining as the dragon gets reset, thereby also not quite being able to get taken down. And actually, Benji Peach not going to be able to get that extra damage onto thereby also. So Igor Blender picking up that double kill, and with all those health bars being so low, going down to the moment, we're not even quite done yet. Our Garthar knows that his enemies aren't looking all too healthy, so he's going to stick around here. And there we go, teleport going to come through, and now Igor Blender getting locked up. Vivan going to get that kill and a 700 gold shutdown as a result, thereby also getting low once more. Vivan picking up that double kill. Acid has actually will be able to kite this out for a bit and actually will get that double kill. So I thought perhaps Vivan would have been able to have enough burst damage there. With Mega Death Rocket going to take Acid a bit lower as X-Craze sitting here on full health. Smite does come through. Acid now though won't have Lamb's Respite, and that's X-Craze picking up that shutdown as well. So even though that will send OMT Chronos to Soul Point, a lot more gold has come into the pockets of very key members on the side of Return of the Middle Six.
Yeah, I think that qualifies as a 7-for-6 team fight in favor of OMT Chronos. That was a marathon right there. That's a.
We just might have another one coming through here. Kinrick going to send Data to the Death Realm, so they're going to be completely open for him as he's going to get blown away by that explosive cask, and will that wall in. Himself out.
Yeah, Data's had a couple of good explosive casks in a row, actually.
Yeah,
it's made it a lot harder for OMT Chronos to just win out on these fights. 30 seconds left here to finish off this Rift Herald. Shouldn't be a problem. Second Rift Herald going to be potentially able to take down the mid-tier 2, even break out some more space on the map, make it that much harder to go take the jungle for Data here. And Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm just hanging on for now, trying to go blow for blow. They're going to be nearly forced to fight. Maybe you're just given the call to give up on the Mountain Soul if you're this far behind, but I think that you probably want to fight for it unless you think that 10 minutes is that much better than 5 and you're going to fight for Elder instead. But it's a pretty rough spot, down 6,000 gold. for return in the middle sticks Crowstorm. They're doing the best that they can with this situation, though, and I think that it's good to see that they're still fighting, even going back in for a team fight after the team fight had seemingly already ended due to the ace.
Yeah, and with that being said, even though the gold difference looks very OMT Chronos favored in terms of execution, I mean, Data actually is probably going to get cut out here. Zenith Blade will land. Shadow Surge layers that CC, thereby also quickly going to pick up that first kill. Now, meanwhile, Viban doesn't really have much else to go. Team's close and behind. X-Craze here. Zenith Blade won't land. Viban taken very low. The burn will be enough as he gets here. Surely that is it. Yes, Kinrick does get that kill, and as well as Karthar going down. We got 3 really quick kills, and with the Rift Herald available to be used, but yeah, he's going to deploy it right now. It's going to feel even better for OMT Chronos.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 5-on-3 here for the next 15 seconds. Just how much of the base can get destroyed here by the Rift Herald's the question. Definitely looking to take out this inhib tower. Double marksman here on the comp for OMT Chronos.
Oh, wait, hold on. That'll be X-Craze getting picked off there early on, thereby also managing to find his way out alive. Karthar trying to find his way back in, though Lamb's Respite will get a lot of value out there as Brooks will manage to keep himself alive, and there it is. One massive ultimate from that Kindred will completely turn this fight all the way in favor of OMT Chronos, where it was beyond the question of you know what? I don't. You know, terms are difficult. Either way, OMT Chronos will take game 1 in a very decisive way.
Yeah, beyond a shadow surge of a doubt here, son. It's been a very good performance in game 1 from OMT Chronos. It's showing why they are the kings of Runeterra Academy Junior Division, why they are so heavily favored throughout this tournament, and they're in very good position here after game 1 to continue towards a potential 3-0. I mean, early to make calls like this, but definitely looking very strong in this series.
Yeah, I mean, other than that top lane 1v, excuse me, I'm just it over to you because my throat's kind of
all right. Let's hope here that Sun Praising does not die. But looking back on that game, there was a lot of skirmishing early on. Acid making the most of this Kindred pick here. Doing well to get some early invades off, getting some help, especially from the lanes, getting some prio. And OMT Chronos just picked a comp where they knew exactly what they were doing. They executed on their win conditions, and once they got that lead, it was just very difficult. I mean, Crowstorm did an admirable job of fighting back. We saw at that dragon fight that they kind of went blow for blow there most of the way through, not able to come away with the win in the team fight or the game. But Crowstorm, they're still in this series. They've been in this position before. They've been behind. They've been heavily underdogs, and definitely expecting to see a lot more fight coming through from them the rest of this series.
And with that, we're going to throw it to a break. But when we come back, we will have the draft of game 2 getting ready. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you then. After a relatively short break, we are back for the draft between Game 2. And quick look back to Game 1 for those who might be tuning in. OMT Chronos, I mean, they just, for the most part, absolutely stomped Return to the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. So probably going to hopefully see a little bit of a shake-up in this next match, especially as Return to the Middle Sticks have elected to take the blue side this time.
Yeah, and I think that gives a little bit more flexibility. We saw that ban of the Ari on the last ban from Crowstorm in game number 1. Maybe they leave that open and try to pick it up. I think that they might want to look towards their solo lanes to try to get some advantages. We saw some ganks towards the top early on from Data in that game. Able to get a little bit of a lead for Viban early on, but there was just too much leaking going on around the rest of the map to make that lead matter at all.
Yeah.
I think that maybe picking up that Ari is something they'll be looking at.
Yeah, and it's definitely a very big presence throughout their whole entire season. So even though X-Craze didn't necessarily get too many Ari games under the belt in a competitive environment, still very much commanded a high presence on that champion, as you were mentioning last time, as it is a very contested pick between X-Craze and Eagle that we would at least expect it to not be banned away by Middle Sticks this time around, and a bit of a question as to what's going on with these two teams. I'm fairly certain everybody is marked ready in the chat, but I'm not quite sure why we have not started yet. As soon as I say that, Diana gets banned away, so.
Yeah, I think that seeing a different ban could make sense, but looking back towards game 1, it's going to be the Mordekaiser. So before I get a chance to speculate, we know that's what it is. The Lilia hasn't been banned out yet. That was their last ban from game number 1, so we'll see if they stick with that, as it's the Vex instead. So a lot of ban changes coming through from Crowstorm. That leaves a little bit more room in the pool, though, for Acid. So we'll see if Acid gets a more preferred pick. Although definitely no problems on the Kindred at all last game.
Oh, none at all. But as we were saying earlier, that does leave up Ari. And so first pick by Return to the Middle Six Crowstorm will be getting that favored champion from X-Craze.
Yeah, I think that Ari definitely has some advantages over Syndra, and getting that extra mobility will feel nice. We saw a couple of good unleashed powers coming through from X-Rays. I didn't have a huge problem with the Syndra last game, but that heavy priority on Ari tells me that we're looking at a lot of focus around trying to get some carry potential out of that mid lane. And it's just going to be the Zeri Nautilus, a very powerful bot lane duo, going to be locked in for Chronos. Nothing too different from what we saw in game number 1, but the Zeri Prio as the ADC is still there for Chronos.
Mumu is going to be the response, and I actually do believe this will most likely be there by also Zamumu as second most played champion there on for the Middle Sticks support. And I mean, a Mumu support's not been something that's been played in quite a while, though if he manages to make it work, who am I to judge?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how the Amumu support meta went. It was like, for 2 patches, Amumu support was pick ban, like, you absolutely have to account for this champion. And then after that, it's like everyone forgot about Amumu support. I think that Amumu, not a bad support, and definitely Garathar's next best champion besides Nautilus, that being taken away here. But I think that Amumu support still definitely has the power with the Curse of the Sad Mummy, getting some extra team fight ult. And with the Ornn being picked up for Viban, that's going to be a lot of engage coming through from Crowstorm.
Oh yeah, lots of AoE CC already being shown on the side of Crowstorm. That being said, in this first portion of the draft, I think they're lacking a little bit of damage, so I would expect to see if Jinx does somehow manage to stay open, as the first Ashe was banned from OMT Chronos. That I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be their first selection this time around. But wait and see
Yeah,
for these.
interestingly, Benji Peach hasn't played a whole lot of Jinx so far this split. A lot of it's been the Seraphine. So maybe it's just Chronos calling out, hey, you haven't played the Jinx that much. Didn't look that great on it last game. I mean, it was a tough spot for Benji Peach to be in, of course. A lot of the pressure bot lane ended up getting kills, especially onto Benji Peach. So he was just behind the whole time. But I think that the lack of experience being called out here, and it's going to be the Aatrox locked in for Kenrick here, another top lane bruiser with a lot of carry potential.
Yeah, Kenrick obviously being very inclined to. Oh, speaking of the Curse of the Sad Mummy being layered with Misfortune, we got that hover here, and would not be surprised to see this come through, layering all those AoE abilities. That being said, with how much CC is available for the side of OMT Chronos, maybe they might just be able to stop at least cancel out that ultimate from the Misfortune as it does finally get locked in.
Yeah, and if it is going to be the Olaf here, which is not something I've seen much of from data, it's going to be a very mid-game focus. I think that this is what I'm expecting anyways, is a lot of mid-game focus. The Udyr has been picked up before by data, and shifts even earlier, potentially, the focus. Same case for Jarvan, very similar in style, but maybe just a lot of AoE layering going on between, Amumu, Ornn, Jarvan, Misfortune. They're looking to get people into a choke point and then kill them all at once.
Yeah, the Wombo as it is the Wombo combo they're all going to press R, and that should be enough to CC the whole entire enemy team all at once for a really long time. And if they do manage to get that sort of situation, they're, going to win pretty much every single fight. But that is obviously a prerequisite that would be required for this competition, because outside of those situations, kind of not looking at all that strong of a competition in other sorts of ways.
Yeah, and a nice counter pick here, I think, in the Lilia, going to be looking to storm through the jungle at record speeds. It's just the jungle clear speed run when you're playing Lilia, so I think that that's going to match up well into the Jarvan. And interesting that Lilia got banned first rotation last game and fell all the way to last pick in game 2, but Acid definitely a very strong carry player. And Lilia is definitely a champion that you can look to both engage and finish off kills with. So if you can get some early kills onto Acid here, I think Chronos will be looking at just snowballing a game in the mid game, very similarly to what we saw last game. And I think that they've shown that they're very capable of getting into that position. Now, I'm excited to see Egrobender's Syndra and maybe get a chance to compare from what we saw last game on X-Grace to Egrobender's Syndra here in game number 2.
Yeah, going to be playing the switch of a few champions on both compositions, because thereby also going to be on that Nautilus as well. So got a little bit of a switcheroo there, but all the while going back to the Lilia pick for Acid, yeah, into Jarvan, the amount of even if Jarvan, wait, hold on, if Acid doesn't pick up a few early kills, Jarvan's not exactly the most prolific clearer of camps, and so really if Data is unable to get a lot of these early ganks coming through, I would expect Acid to really just run away in this jungle matchup.
Yeah, we saw in game number 1 a lot of jungle invades come through as well from Acid, and I think that he's got a lot of potential to skirmish here. So we'll see if the lane priority comes through once again from the side of OMT Chronos. I definitely think that's more of a possibility in the top side of the map here. I think Aatrox into Ornn is a lot stronger of a matchup than Mordekaiser into Shen, especially through the early stages of the game. And Ecobender is going to be looking at some early priority, picking up that Syndra, especially with the level 6. As soon as that comes through, I would expect to see Egrobender looking to get that push and walk towards whichever side that Acid wants to invade on, but definitely got some similarities to last game here. Not exactly the same team comps and a little bit different on the win conditions, but I'm expecting to see Chronos try to go towards this style that they got in game number 1, and they're displaying their confidence on its highest level here in the semifinals.
Yeah, and you're mentioning that confidence. They surely have to be feeling great about themselves, but before we get to see how they display that on the Rift, we do have a spectator delay, but when we come back, we will see you in game 2, so don't go anywhere.
Am I breaking through? 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 Am I breaking through?
have loaded onto the Rift for game 2, and this time we're getting a little bit of some level 1 shenanigans from Return of the Middle Sticks. All 5 members in this top lane trying to find a way in. I would just imagine that Garthar does have the bandage toss available. Then they will see Kinrick here. I don't believe they'll look for too much more than that. And actually, we're still sitting around, and as all these members start coming up towards this river, we're not quite out of any sort of danger just yet. Demon just Pixel Brush, thereby also going to get the snare onto Garthar, having to flash away, thereby also trying to find his way back in, going to find Benji Peach with the stun. Kinrick now will go down as Benji Peach does get that first kill, thereby also going low, but will it be enough? Ignite will take that one down after the Viban finishes it up on the auto attack. Brooks now is in a really strange spot for the rest of this fight. His Data also likely going to go down now as Acid does have extra move speed. And straight away, we have a 4-4-3 team fight at level 1. That being said, Acid not quite out of it just yet. Viban did use that teleport to get back towards this this fight in the jungle. Acid only on half health now. X-Craze. Think he did not level the charm. That being said, won't see that Acid's still here. We'll back away now, probably. And wow, 4-for-3 level 1. I mean, how many times do we see that? Actually, we're not over just yet. Garthar has run straight to the mid lane, trying to find something onto Eaglebender just there. And yeah, there we've got confirmation that X-Craze did start with the charm in that fight, actually taking a lot of minion aggro and a poor trade. Smite going to be stealing away that blue buff from Acid, straight down to the bot lane, thereby also going to get try to find his way onto the enemy ADC, and knowing that Garthar is not there. And what is this game so far, Tiger? I
don't know if we're done just yet.
We're not even done just yet. Acid's going to be in a difficult position here. I'm not quite sure if Viban has that knockup just yet, but I don't know if it'll matter. Kinrick getting charmed there, having to flash away as a result. Data's still only level 1 though, so won't have that CC available to him. He's sitting on half health, might just be stuck in a really terrible spot here as he's going low. That being said, Acid as well won't quite be able to get taken down now. Viban likely going to be giving yet another kill over to the side of OMT Chronos. And most of these champions haven't even hit level 3 yet. X-Craze trying to find a trade onto Eaglebender, though. I believe we're fine. I believe we're actually, no, we're not done just yet. X-Craze standing in that lane bush, trying to find the charm onto Eaglebender. X-Craze one auto attack. Eaglebender has no mana left, so I don't imagine that X-Craze won't quite be able to get in range to finish off that kill. And brain, hello? What has been, okay. Well,
yeah. This game. All right.
Unexpected. Well, I mean, Eaglebender picks up the solo kill there in the mid lane, but yeah, 7-for-3 the scoreline after only 3 3/4 minutes.
Yeah, and finally I'm getting a chance to talk after just about 4 minutes, but we got a lot of fighting going on here in the early stages of the game, and it's kind of thrown everything off kilter just a little bit because X-Ray's only
we're not even done just yet as Garthar is trying to find his way onto Brooks. Second part of that bandage toss won't find the stun, and actually Garthar just might be caught out here in the 2v2. Gets snared. Brooks getting that first kill onto the enemy support, and I believe I believe I could throw it over to you now, Tiger.
Yeah, we'll see if that's gonna last for very long. It seems like a lot of fighting going on here, but a lot of it's been favorable outcomes coming through from Chronos. Now, I like the aggression to go for that early play coming out from Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. After last game, they're figuring that they need to get some early advantages and try to push those towards victory. They've got a very, very early game focused team comp, especially with this Amumu Misfortune combo. And they did pretty decently in the first exchange. They ended up losing it 4-for-3.
They got that charm. That being said, thereby also is here as well as the other support of Garthar. Ignite comes through, a shutdown going on to X-Craze. And I don't know exactly how long that cooldown is on the second part of the bandage toss, so I'm just going to stick around here for the rest of this fight. But still, yeah, That's going to be quite a bit of gold, early gold coming up. And hold on, thereby also won't quite land the dredge line and is going to get caught out. So quickly, what was looking like a dominant early game from Chronos has quickly been turned around and brought back within 400 gold just 5 minutes in here.
Yeah, both sides looking for early aggression. A lot of the priority has come from Crowstorm. They're looking to make fights happen wherever they can, trying to get some numbers advantages. Garethar going for that roam towards the mid lane. Works out pretty decently for them. And after all of that, we've got a gold lead of only 500 in favor of OMT Chronos. So definitely a pretty close game here. Acid now looking for a gank.
Yeah, speaking of OMT Chronos, here comes Acid trying to find the slow onto Vibon, but Vibon just going to kind of scoot away there. So we really will be feeling fine on that now.
Yeah, I think that going back through the fights, well, Henrik may be looking for an all-in now that level 6 is here, but
yeah, now that he does have that level 6, but meanwhile Eagle Bender looks towards the bot lane. Garth are going to take a decent chunk of damage. So I'm not sure if it'll be enough as the bandage toss does land onto Brooks. Garthar getting snared up under his own tower does get that first kill onto Garthar. However, Benji Peach trying to find the counter thereby also, but will stay for a bit too long. And meanwhile, Acid in this top lane will be able to try to find a bit of damage here. And actually, first will be traded. It's a double kill on the gank underneath the tower. So a lot of assistance coming from those few tower shots in that top lane dive. But at the end of the day, that's going to be Vibon picking up 2 kills in the 2-for-1.
Yeah, great.
Actually, Data going to find the flag and drag when they're not knowing where that positioning is. Getting low now. Things get scattered. The weak will probably be able to end this fight early on. No. Data not quite being able to find that extra last bit of damage, though. I'm not quite sure if that would have enough to kill there.
Yeah, I mean, on half an item, that could definitely be enough to get 100 damage down with the Dragon Strike. But I think that both teams just maybe want to think about fighting when there's actually an objective that they're going for. If this gank comes through, then there's definitely an objective associated with that, and that's a Drake. But there's been a lot of fighting this game just for the sake of fighting, and I think that that's not the worst thing. But I think that doing that on repeat definitely makes it harder to
Speaking of the all-in, knows that Vibon doesn't have the call of the Forge God here, so now trying in this 1v1, maybe try and find the solo kill, and will land that knock-up and will secure the shutdown onto his enemy laner in the 1v1.
Yeah, Vibon not willing to flash there, interestingly. I think that he had that available. Now Rome coming up.
Yeah, speaking of, here comes X-Craze. Now going to use a Spirit Rush to get over the wall. Going forward, trying to find the last bit of damage onto Kinriak. That's instead taking a lot of oh my goodness, that is a lot of damage. As Kinriak will land that sweet spot and get another kill and another solo kill in that top lane. Now this time onto X-Craze.
Yeah, X-Craze looking for the roam. I think that makes a lot of sense on the Ahri pick, but then he just flash Spirit Rush with no abilities available right into melee range. So I think that that's not quite optimal against an Aatrox, as is borne out by the evidence here. Now Acid going for some more invades. We'll see if this leads to some more fighting, as it looks like Garethar may be wise to it.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that Lilia clears really fast, will be layered up with the bullet time. Benji Peach going to pick up that kill there, and as we were stating not too long ago in the draft that that Amumu misfortune at one point not too long ago was, hold on, actually Brooks going to be caught out here, and that's going to be Benji Peach picking up yet another kill. So really well done for that ADC. That being said, all in from Eagle Bender, going to try to find X-Craze, and there it is, going to get a solo kill in that mid lane, going on to the Syndra, and all over the place is really the only way to describe this game. We're only 10 minutes in and we've had 24 kills, Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, that last couple of kills that just happened have kind of outlined the strongest champions in the game right now. I mean, if we look over at the gold, we can see it right at the top of the charts. We've got E-Girl at 5-1-5 on the Syndra, and we've got Benji Peach at 5-2-2 on the Misfortune, and those are going to be at the strongest carries at this point in the game. E-Girl with big lead coming through, getting that solo kill on X-Craze. Has taken 3 plates.
Though we've got to fight in and around the Rift. Herald Eagle Bender has a slight priority advantage here, but all the while that was mostly as a result of Garthar coming up to not completely have all of that priority as they shut down the tower. But that being said, Charm will land. Kenrick getting taken down to half health, so I don't believe there's enough burst to take him down just yet. And speaking of just yet, Kenrick going to be getting another kill. So now 5-2-4. Oh no, that dredge line won't quite land from there by also hitting that little bit of terrain. So right there, thereby also trying to find the knockup onto Benji Peach. That being said, at what cost? The kill does get traded back onto E-Girl Bender. So yeah, that'll be yet another kill. And at that, a shutdown going on to this mid laner, especially since you're going to be feeling like you do a lot of burst damage just out now. Vibon, though, going to be taken low. Will he be able to? Yes, he will be able to get that second part of the Call of Forge card coming up. That being said, as he goes sleepy, will be taken down by Kenrick as he was completely CC'd, unable to move there. Brooks trying to find a way back in. That being said, Bandage Toss will find the CC onto Brooks. Is it enough damage? There it is. Data will find the blast auto attack onto Brooks. And as the charm lands, that'll be shut down going over to X-Craze in this mid lane. And so as we get these really extended fights with 12 minutes and we've got a total of 31 kills, quick maths across the board. And as I do believe that, I don't even know if we're done here just yet. It doesn't, that return was full health. And there it is. X-Craze going to get taken a ton of damage, thereby also going to set that up. However, at what cost? There it is. Benji Peach getting another kill, and that second bandage toss will land. That being said, going down, Benji Peach is here. Yes, Benji Peach will get that kill with on the E. That being said, Acid going to be gaining the move speed here now, just as we won't have a chance to see that Rift Herald go down. That being said, Data is now walking into the mid lane with the eye collected, and Tiger, I think I'm going to have to throw it over to you just now because I'm already feeling my voice going after how crazy these first 13 minutes have been.
Yeah, and I think that this is actually a very good spot for Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm to be in. They definitely have been forcing a lot of fights to come through, and I thought that the response looked pretty good there going towards the Rift Herald from OMT Chronos. They kind of have gotten the sense of this game that there's going to be a lot of fighting, so just rotate everyone towards it, and I thought that was generally a good call. But on the back end of the fight, it's Middlesticks able to set up the kills, able to take down the Rift Herald. They just were able to get all of their members in good positions. Benji Peach has been absolutely massive this game. They're going to be able to get some plates here. And the gold lead is still within 1,000 between the two teams. Now another objective's up, so why not fight for it, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, we've fought for so many objectives as it is now. Kenrick not quite having that Unleashed Teleport available just yet. That being said, thereby also taken very low. X-Craze will get knocked up, but that's going to be the enemy support taken down as Data secures the dragon. And what's this going to be? Yeah, the bullet time going to be massive, taking a lot of damage there onto the enemy team. That being said, Acid will find the kill onto Benji Peach. Now Kenrick is here after the teleport became just unleashed now, and right in the enemy team gets that first kill, trying to find Garthar now, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough damage here. Kenrick going low, taken down, not quite able to clean up the rest of that fight as Garthar does manage to make it out alive.
Yeah, so Kenrick able to pick up the turret gold after finishing off that top lane tier 1, able to get the first brick, so that kind of evens out the gold, but the Drake going down in favor of Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm mean that they probably come out on top of that fight, relatively speaking. Still a very, very even game. And Kenrick able to go in 1v4 at the end of the fight and come away with, I believe, 2 kills before going down. So a lot of champions in a strong spot in the game right now. We'll see if Kenrick's able to come back onto the map now with an item and a half that Gore Drinker completed. Should be even stronger in skirmishes, especially against low health enemies like we saw at the end of that last fight. Now
Fairly dangerous with here. X-Cray's going low within one auto attack at this point. Surely, that being said, the kill doesn't quite land just yet. That being said, thereby also knowing that X-Craze is in and around the area, kind of just maybe fishing around with that hook, but not able to find much there. As I believe that will be X-Craze making it out alive.
Yeah, the mid lane tower now taken out by Benji.
Wait, X-Craze? You crazy man. Hello? X-Craze won't even need the help from thereby also as Eaglebender is just one Q's going to manage to pick up that kill onto his enemy mid laner. That being said, knowing that the enemy support's down here, Acid going to get locked up by the Cataclysm, Data going to get yet another kill, sitting 6, 2, and 7 on that Jarvan. And all the way across the map, good awareness from the side of Return of the Middle Sticks to know that numbers advantage will be in their favor in that top lane, and do answer very well.
Yeah, but it's going to cost them 2 towers here, so I'm not sure that that's a worthwhile play. Still very close in the gold. We can't have it separate, so we're 22-22 on the kills. Everyone got to have the same number of kills, same number of drakes, almost same amount of gold. Now the biggest advantage on the map is the 3 turrets that have gone down in favor of OMT Chronos, but we'll see if they can use that extra map presence to pull down some more objectives coming up here. If not, that means that there's a little bit more standing gold available for Return of the Middle Sticks, so we'll see if they're going to be able to get back in the gold lead if they can take those towers down.
Yeah, and out of the remaining towers, it is the 2 side lane tier 1s on the side of OMT Chronos that remain available. So I think it's important to note that without that mid lane tier 1, it's not quite as bad as the numbers have initially seemed with that assessment. I didn't say as bad, that being said. That extra gold and ability to run across the map definitely going to feel nice for Chronos, but Middlesticks probably not feeling too horrible about their current situation.
Yeah, the one thing that I would think with those side lane towers still being up is that it's pretty difficult to get any split pushers for Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. I mean, Ahri can be in a side lane, but I wouldn't exactly call her a split push god of any sort.
The side lane just might be getting caught out here. Depth charge used. Spirit Rush going to be used by X-Craze early on. Benji Peach, however, up and towards this mid lane, does get that first kill. Now, you do get confirmation that X-Craze does go down, but all the while, Garthar gets that kill onto Kinrick. So 2 for 1 currently across the map. That being said, with that side lane completely left open, Brooks trying to find the extra bit of damage to find the kill here. Flash forward from Benji Peach, a bit dangerous. And now here comes the rest of Chronos, as we got a lot of low health bars. 2 shutdowns already coming through. That's 3 straight kills going onto the side of OMT Chronos, trying to find Vibon. Is the rest of these 3 members, but won't find the CC, and that'll be a very favorable fight going over to OMT Chronos.
Yeah, Eaglebender coming in at the end of the fight and absolutely sweeping everything up. Great play there to show up. The Scatter of the Week comes in on top of Benji Peach, doesn't allow him to kill off Brooks there, and that really changes how everything looks after that fight. Now it's almost 3,000 gold lead in favor of OMT Chronos. They finally solidified their advantage. It's been really back and forth so far this game, but after that fight, getting the second Drake, getting the gold advantage, Eaglebender now 9, 3, and 10 on this Syndra. 2 items already completed, going to be doing a ton of damage to this lineup. And I see like all of this magic pen coming through from Eaglebender, and I think, wow, we've got enemy team has Orin, Amumu, Jarvan. It's not going to have such great effect, but if you look at the items, they've just kind of got their Merc Treads, and after that, the magic resist not coming through quite so much. for the rest of the team. So it's still doing a ton of damage here, and especially with this item
marked
advantage.
up by that depth charge, but without much damage following. This item might have just baited his team. Acid going low as X-Craze gets the kill onto the enemy jungler, though he is asleep for now. Will have to flash away, but I'm not sure if he'll go down. And as a matter of fact, he won't. Garthar now being taken down by Kinrick. Kinrick, as we know, is massive. Gets the double kill, getting to the confirmed kill onto X-Craze. And now trying to turn this game back, this fight back around is Kinrick with his full health bar. Shutdown going on to Data on the Jarvan, and meanwhile Kinrick, his ultimate's expired. Will flash forward, will get that kill onto the enemy ADC. Data now going to be dragged away as Kinrick looks like he's going to absolutely run away with this fight as Vivan maybe won't quite be able to get the kill onto Thereby also. And it is a massive fight going over to the side of OMT Chronos.
Yeah, and that fight was so close. I mean, Kenrick picking up the kill there at the end on Benji Peach really allowed to be swept away by OMT Chronos. But I saw at the beginning of the fight, Bender kind of just showed up and walked directly at Benji Peach until he was in range of ult. And that was basically the entire fight from Bender, which made me feel really like it was going to go poorly for OMT Chronos. But thankfully for them, it's not just Bender that's fed. You got Kenrick absolutely taking over the fight.
Also attempting to contest this Baron, though. Despite the fight going over in favor, Baron going to be taken up by OMT Chronos, but this fight isn't done just yet, as the bullet time's going to find a lot of damage there. Wilting Lullaby does come through, but not much of that will matter, as won't find any kills on the end of that. Brooks now just can't find anywhere else to go. So even though Baron is claimed, it's going to be a 4-4-0 at the back end of that fight, with the only Baron available being on Thereby. Oh, actually 4-4-1 as the Burn does manage to take down X-Craze. Just barely at the end there.
Yeah, a really nice fight there from Return of the Middle Six Crowstorm. They're going to be able to pick up at least one tower here. The respawn's not coming through it for another 10 seconds at least on most members here from OMT Chronos. They're going to be able to push back, thereby also buffing up the minions, going to avoid allowing any inhib towers to go down. But still, we see with the gold going over from the Baron that the overall gold only swings a little bit back in favor of Return of the Middle Six Crowstorm. They're going to be able to pick up that tower as well. So all in all, a pretty even trade, I would say. Probably feels nice for Crowstorm to know that they can win a fight like that, and hopefully that gives them the confidence to keep on fighting for objectives coming through the rest of the game. About a minute left here on the 4th Drake spawning. It's going to be, if picked up, the 3rd Drake over to the side of OMT Chronos would be the 2nd tying it up if it is taken by Return of the Middle Six Crowstorm. But I think that it's going to be a lot of fighting around it, as we can already see the teams descending.
Yeah, and one thing that we're going to have to look out for pretty much this whole entire game is the fact that the return of the sad mummy. He's got the sad mummy and the bullet time going to be laying over each other. Sometimes English is a difficult language, but this Mumu and Misfortune in the area always have to look out for them. That being said, Kinrick in the side lane is just kind of being, he's got vibes. He's vibing. He's really, that's all there is to describe about it.
Yeah, it's too bad that Kenrick wasn't able to keep the Baron, because if that was the case, then Chronos would have so much pressure on the map right now. There would almost be
won't be able to quite sneak that out onto Thereby also. Being said, Bender doesn't quite know that the pink ward is used there. Benji keeps going to get marked by that dredge line. Brooks going to get the early kill onto the enemy ADC. That being said, Bender taken down as Garthar is trying to lock down Brooks, but without that Misfortune, a lot of the damage isn't available. That being said, Brooks now down, currently going slightly in favor in terms of kills over to Middle Six, but with these such low health bars, they're going to have to run from this. Charm will land onto the enemy jungler of Acid. There it is, but at what cost? Garthar low now, and I believe surely he has to be taken out any second. We'll try to find the bandage toss onto Kinrick, but I mean, he's not going to be able to get out of there, as we have a 3-for-3 in that last fight. That being said, might still available for Data. And so with the vision here, they know that they're going to try to maybe at least clear vision on this Drake. I would imagine that they would know that the smite advantage is still over to the side of middle six.
I think that fight we saw both sides doing a really good job of picking off the VIP. So we saw Benji Peach get hit by the combo at the beginning of the fight, finished off before he can even unleash the bullet time. But then on the other side of things, Egro Vendor is the first kill that goes in favor of ROTM Crowstorm. They're able to even out the fight after that. Kenrick does some pretty good work here, and looks like
that smite was early from Acid. Not being able to quite find it there. That being said, I'm not sure how much it'll matter. And there it is. Bullet time then called up. Forge God going to do a bunch of damage. That being said, Kenrick will manage to stay alive there as the will get that lifeline passive, and as a result, going to be able to get out alive with an absolutely massive fight, at least currently going in favor of OMT Chronos. That being said, Benji Peach so much damage, able to pick up that kill in return and be able to dodge the bowling ball. Won't quite be able to pick up that spare champion. Benji Peach most likely will be able to walk out of here just now, but at the end of the day, after all is said and done, it is going to be a really decisive fight getting taken by OMT Chronos.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4-for-2. Going to be able to pick up this tower here as well. They've got themselves on Soul Point, and now Chronos is in firm command. They've got the 5,000 gold lead as well. Taking that tower means that they're pushing towards the base at a steady pace. This game already taking longer than the last by about 5 minutes, but Chronos definitely going to be running the map. The Baron comes up here in about 40 seconds. I would expect potential contest there, and this time I would be looking for a little bit more protection of Benji Peach at the start of the fight. Whenever a fight's gone in favor of Crowstorm throughout this game, it's almost always been due to a massive bullet time coming through. So Benji Peach really doing so much work here for the side of Crowstorm. 10-5 on the Jarvan means that Data is definitely not in a bad spot either, but a little bit less in a carry role now after picking that Thornmail up, kind of passing the baton completely over to Benji Peach here. Already has the Eclipse upgraded. We've got to remember Ornn in the game, so that's going to be given even more power over, but now Kenrick going to look for a 1v1.
I mean, we're so late on Vibon, even though being 2 levels down, just kind of going to shrug that off and feel okay about itself. But that being said, that does give us a slight demonstration of just how much power Kenrick currently has on this Aatrox in these side lanes, and without really anybody to easily answer him, I'm going to be able to draw a lot of pressure. And as you were saying, with Baron up now, definitely something to look forward to in these next few minutes. Actually, wait, no, hold on. Speaking of these next few minutes, maybe these next few seconds, Benji Peach going to try to find thereby also bandage shots now onto the enemy support. Benji Peach now getting that kill. So quickly, we do have a slight numbers advantage currently in the favor of middle six. So they're going to move straight to the Baron.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see Chronos try to fight this. They definitely have a lot of confidence.
Ooh, yeah, we got
both teleports coming in.
Yeah. And as both these teleports do come through, Kenrick still here, called Forge God, now called! Won't be able to get the second portion of that off, so perhaps a slight misplay. That being said, I'm not sure how much it'll matter, as that was a really big bullet time from Benji Peach. Kenrick now going to get that extra lifeline passive, though on the Malmortius. Won't quite be able to find there's Vibod. Just going to get taken down. Rails through just here. That being said, GA pop all the while from Kenrick. Is it enough to keep him alive for a little bit longer? Is his team coming to support? Perhaps it is. Acid, without the wilting lullaby, will be able to still find that kill onto Garathar. And now, as Benji Peach is the last member of his team alive, will try to find the kill onto Brooks there. That being said, how much more can he really get? As that is the triple kill going on to Acid. And once more, here comes thereby also to help take the kill.
Yeah, and finally the fight concludes. A very drawn out fight there, and Benji Peach gets a lot of work done with that ultimate, able to finish off the kill on Egro Vendor. I initially thought, that was a very good scatter the weak to avoid Vibran being able to recast Call of the Forge God. but that allows Benji Peach to set up shop, find that bullet time that does so much work, and Data sets it up well with the Cataclysm going in a spot where Ego Bender just doesn't have any chance to escape there. And so initially the fight looks very good coming through from Crowstorm, but as it draws out, Kenrick buys so much space, and with the GA there, doesn't even fall until very, very late in the fight. And that means that there's plenty of time for Brooks to go pick up that kill onto Vibe, and I believe it was in the mid lane, and able to find the flank.
A lot of fight coming through here. Curse of the Sad Mummy going to do quite a bit, and bullet time will be layered there, but also getting taken really low. X-Craze getting that first kill. Data now. That being said, will be good on the back of this fight. Not quite done just yet. Acid trying to fight into here. Comes Kenrick, though. Not quite able to. There goes Garthar. Will get that reset on his ultimate, with these health bars getting very low. Benji Peach also doing his fair share of damage as well. We currently sit at 2 for 2 now. That being said, with the extra positional advantage on the side of OMT Chronos, they're going to look to start up this Drake and potential Soul here, as Kenrick's kind of hiding out of vision. X-Craze going to get knocked up. X-Craze going to be taken down by Ego Bender, and with that, that'll be Ocean Soul going over to OMT Chronos.
Yeah, so now these extended fights that we've seen throughout this game, especially in some extent the series, are going to be very much in favor of Chronos. I mean, getting that regen from the Ocean Soul passive is going to be massive as the Siegers come through with the Baron buff as well. They can look to start knocking down some towers. They finally got themselves in order. They've got the priorities around the map to go for the last of these towers. Only 4 towers taken so far by Chronos means that it's been pretty well defended by Crowstorm, but it's just becoming more and more difficult as the game goes on. Now with the Baroned up minions, it's going to be difficult to save this tier 2. They can get everyone rotated over by the time that the wave crashes the tier 3, though, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a fight as Data trying to flank.
Yeah, speaking of Data trying to find his way out, but he just might be the one who gets caught out himself, as he now goes down Acid, picking up that first kill to start off this fight, and all the while off the screen, that is going to be Benji Peach going to be taking his life. And so without that extra bit of damage, I don't believe that there'll be too much that Return to the Middle Six can really do here, as it's a really incredible fight won by OMT Chronos with 4 members left on the map.
Yeah, and the door's finally going to slam shut here in game number 2 from Crowstorm. 2 members left on the map don't have any damage amongst them. There's no way that they can kill off the front line. This is going to be a 2-0 in favor of OMT Chronos. They're going to be right on the doorstep of finals now. And great fight.
Yeah. We could hope. He's been doing his best to try to send this out as long as possible. That being said, as you were saying, sorry, I got a little bit too hopeful there.
Well, there was some absolutely... There was some absolutely vile healing going on from Kenrick there. I mean, we saw in that last fight around the mid-tier 2 that he kind of just went under the tower and then got an entire extra 3/4 of a health bar to work with. And then he also healed up another quarter. So it was like he was working with 2 health bars and his Guardian Angel wasn't even up. So Kenrick just doing a lot of work on the front line there. A scrappy out from Crowstorm. It's just a little bit too small at the end of the day. Benji Peach, though, having a massive pop-off on the Misfortune. That's your hope throughout the rest of the series, is to try to get some carry performances like that coming out. I definitely liked what we saw from Crowstorm more in game number 2 than in game number 1. But OMT Chronos, they are a massive team, a massive roster. They've got big carries coming out from Ego Bender and Kenrick that game. And that's not even to mention that Acid and Brooks both picked up at least 8 kills. So how do you kill off the VIP when there's really 4 of them?
Yeah, really. It was at the end there, the only member of OMT Chronos that has any sort of, or not OMT Chronos, the only member of middle sticks that was of any importance to OMT Chronos was Benji Peach, and once they're able to focus all that damage onto the enemy AD carry who wants to be able to sit still to do all his damage there, it just in terms of the win conditions for both teams was strongly starting to favor Chronos at the end of that game there. However, I do want to say we had 92 kills in that game.
Yeah, that was quite the
92.
bloodbath going back and forth, and it was a close one too. I mean, it's 50-42. That's by no stretch of the imagination just a massacre. But at the end of the day, it came down to gathering the resources, taking the objectives, and Chronos was just a step ahead the whole time when it came to that. So we'll see what changes come in going towards game 3 from Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. They're going to have to figure out some way to go about this. They're able to get their advantages and actually gain a lead off of that before they can snowball it to the victory.
And so with that, we will send it to a break, but when we do come back, we will have the draft of Game 3 on a match point situation for OMT Chronos, but Middle Sticks reverse sweeps. Never know. But either way, we have that to look forward to. Don't go anywhere. And after that, I think bloodbath is an understatement of Game 2 Tiger. We finally got that through and done, and that was I have to say that was probably the most amount of kills in a singular game I've ever casted before, maybe even seen.
Yeah, I mean, at least in terms of kills per minute, it's going to be very difficult to match. It was on the verge of 4 kills a minute there. So I mean, basically, it was everyone on respawn was basically going towards the middle of the map, trying to find their place in the brawl. And we're getting into the draft. I like the choice here from Crowstorm to stay with the blue side. It's what's been working a little bit better. I think game number 2 a lot closer than game number 1. Sticking with pretty similar bans as well. I think that at some point you just make the call that you don't send too many bans towards Acid, because Acid's pool is just a little too deep.
Yeah, and well, we've seen that a little bit more this way. That being said, with the ultimate of the draft, Zeri going to be picked up by Crowstorm. So a bit of a change up from that last game, as they did prioritize Ari for X Craze there, but Zeri have been used in both the first two games for OMT Chronos. Now won't be available to them as be piloted by Benji Beach.
Yeah, I think that Benji Peach has played Zeri probably the most of any champion throughout the split, so definitely good to see that champion. But it's going to reversal here. Brooks and thereby also coming in with the combo in the bot lane. Misfortune Nautilus, maybe the one more classic than the Fortune Amumu. So we'll see if Garethar goes and finishes the pickup here. I think that going towards the Rel makes some sense here, but I would expect if it is the Rel to see something from Data that likes to get all up in your like that here that was flashed.
Yeah, and I do believe with that we're getting a lot of short range coming through, but as you were saying, Misfortune Nautilus, really Misfortune any sort of support that has easily used CC, as Ari is going to be having. I wouldn't be surprised if it does get locked in. So once more for X Craze going to be on Ari once more. Didn't quite have too much of an impact in that last game, but we also had a ridiculous last game as well. So not going to make too many early judgments, and we got a very mirrored draft after the first round of picks.
Yeah, I think that X-Craze actually did a decent amount of work in last game. I mean, overshadowed by a lot of the other players in the game, but it's not like X-Craze just had 2 kills. It was, I believe it was 8 and 13 on the Ari, so not like a great performance by any, but there were definitely moments where it was X-Craze doing some work, finding some charms. I think that was a big thing in the level 1 fight. And then later on in the game, I think that he was able to get a couple of kills on the Egro Vendor. So definitely Ari, the pick that X-Craze has favored most throughout the split, makes a lot of sense. But Egro Vendor, into Ari worked out last game, so why not do it again?
Yeah, Egro Vendor definitely. I mean, I would say with last game, I don't even know if you could really use that as a baseline for really any of these future matches as there we go. Aatrox, I would not be surprised to see that banned away, as Kenrick absolutely just popped off on game 2 on Aatrox.
Yeah, and I think that with the Aatrox and Mordekaiser bans, we could see something from Kenrick that's a little bit safer of a pick, just be part of the team fight, or we could see the Graves flexed here by Chronos. So we'll see if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and I do really like this Graves pick, because both Acid and Kenrick can play Graves. I do believe that Kenrick was played it more often. That being said, I mean, in flex pick's a flex pick, and especially on R4, and the 2 positions still yet to be picked from middle sticks. I think it's a very, very powerful position to then lock that in.
Yeah, I think that seeing that Malphite come in opens up the possibilities here from Data. Could still be something that goes all in like an Udyr, but I think that there's also the possibility to play something that's a more team fight carry sort of oriented. Maybe the Nunu here is going to be the pick, and that's going to be locked in. So once again, big team fight ideas coming out from Crowstorm. A lot of stuff for Garethar's Rel to be working with here between the Malphite and the Nunu. And it's going to be the Cho'Gath, so the Graves is flexed, and Kenrick going to be gobbling up some people in the top lane.
Yeah, going to be able to become really big on the Cho'Gath. He's going to just chomp his way to, we're going to try to chomp his way to victory. Rock's being very nutritious and all that, or so I'm told. Didn't really a lot of iron in them, but actually iron's never mind. It's not, I'm not a geology expert, so.
Yeah, Well, Cho'Gath definitely happy to eat anything that he can come across, so we're definitely going to be included in that. And I like the flex here because I think that Malphite into Graves would be a very strong matchup for the side of Crowstorm, but I think that getting the Cho'Gath makes it a lot more favorable here for Chronos. We'll see if they're going to be able to get priority in lanes again. On yet another carry here with this Graves. Going to be looking to see if he can get some more early invades off, try to get the big CS advantages that we've seen from him. And with the misfortune here, it's an even more early game focused comp than we've seen yet from Chronos. So I think that they're going to have a lot of opportunity to get ahead early. But if we do get into some later game team fights, I think Benji showed the potential to carry in game number 2, and I think Zeri is potentially the scary carry.
Oh, that rhymed. Hold on. This is gonna drop bad rhymes on us. Wait, continue typing. Either way, but no, it is a valid point that Zeri definitely did a lot of work, especially in these first 2 games from Brooks, specifically. But now that Benji Peach on the Zeri, I don't believe he had too many matches on Zeri. Actually, no, never mind. I tell a lie. In my notes, I do actually have Zeri written down. I'm just can't read, apparently. So yeah, definitely a familiar champion then, and I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently.
Well, I think that the most interesting pick out of this draft potentially is the Nunu and Willump coming through from data. I saw one game in the match history, but Nunu and Willump is a champ that we very rarely get to see in competitive play. I think that he's got a lot of potential, especially going for some absolute zeros out of a brush. You could look to try to set up a team like that, and a lot of objective control. Well, with the Chomp Smite, it's very difficult to outsmite that. Of course, with a Syndra, you can always look to get some good combos, but that requires exact knowledge of how another player is going to play. So that's going to require very good communication to match up against. But I think that the Nunu means that it should be a lot objective focus here. Wouldn't be surprised to see some potential Drake stacking coming through. X-Cray is going to be looking to push and roam on the R, I believe. Could be difficult to do against a Syndra. I mean, there's a lot of priority around the bot side of the map for OMT Chronos. But I think that when you've got the Nunu, you definitely need to be stacking those objectives.
Yeah, and you say Nunu, but at the same time, I counter Cho'Gath, and even though won't have that smite, still a lot of true damage coming on some of those neutral objectives. Can't fight that off completely, and I think with how I'm honestly a little bit excited to see if Kinrick does something a little bit crazy with AP Cho'Gath, getting that little extra damage down, because he have a few decent AP items as well that he can pick up, like I believe hold on, what's the name of the burn one that isn't the
You're talking about Leandries?
Not Meandries. I mean, shoot.
I mean, the ones I'm thinking of are Everfrost and Rocket Belt. Are the ones
I'm
that
not. Rocket Belt could be an interesting. I just want to see AP Cho'Gath in general.
AP Cho'Gath. All right, we'll see if that comes through.
I want to see those big chomps.
Yeah, and big chomps coming through, and also doing extra damage towards that Malphite, who wants to get some armor because got some armor scaling on the abilities. Definitely something that's going to be useful against Acid and Brooks on the double marksman once again for Chronos. But the lane matchup going to be a lot harder if you stack that armor early and then you're up against an AP lane opponent. So great points there, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, we will have to see how that goes. I was about to repeat the exact words you said there, and that's not exactly good practice. Sometimes finding the right words is a little bit difficult, but either way, I won't not to be concerned with that bit too more. As we do hit the spectator delay, we've got you might want to go and grab some food for this one if you're just tuning in, because we've got 2 big chompy boys in this in game 3 here. Match point, OMT Chronos. And when we come back, we'll have loaded on the Rift for what might be the last time this this series. Loaded onto the Rift for a match point for OMT Chronos here in game 3, having, well, at least in game 1, showed a very dominant performance, but after a ridiculous game 2, I honestly no expectations coming to this one, Tiger.
Yeah, well, Chronos has played very well so far this series. Game number 2, a much closer game, and especially with a lot of fighting going on throughout the early to mid game. If we see something similar, though, this time around, I would expect that Chronos would be able to come out on top a lot more often because the picks are a lot more early game focused, especially with Brooks on the misfortune. So I'm expecting to see Crowstorm play it out a little bit more quietly this time around. You know, try to get into a position where when they take team fights, they're going to be able to come out on top. So I'll be looking to see level 6s potentially come through, although Data on the Nunu has a potential to go for some early ganks. So we'll see if it's going to be hopefully not quite as much fighting as game number 2, but I think that we could still see some 3v3s, 2v2s, 2v3s, you know, all sorts of stuff going on around the map.
wow, in this early exchange, Eaglebender going to get a slight advantage through this poke. Taking a very nice trade, if I do say so myself. He's not. I don't even know if he's missed a single shot. So no, as I say that, I mean, of course, it's a casting boost.
Yeah, Eaglebender definitely feeling confident on this Syndra. We saw in game number 2 that early game power, especially, it was mostly Eaglebender throughout the early stages until Kenrick was able to take that first tower and start doing some work as well.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of trades in this mid lane, further Eaglebender once more. Really feeling good early on here, and one thing that is kind of important to mention is that both these mid laners have decided teleport's overrated this time. We're going Ignite. So talking about kill pressure and gank setup, even though perhaps Graves and Nunu in these first few levels maybe not the best to do so. They'll decide to go here, and actually, hold on, X-Cray is going to be taken really low. There it is, one more auto attack is all that's needed as Eaglebender picks up the first blood in the solo kill.
Yeah, once again, Eaglebender able to win the 1v1 matchup. This has been somewhat of a theme throughout this series. I mean, Eaglebender has definitely been performing at a top level. X-Craze has had some struggles. There's been good moments, but sometimes it ends up being like that, where Eaglebender able to just find the all-in, and then there's nothing you can do about it because the scatter of the weeks have just been absolutely on point throughout this series from Eaglebender.
Yeah, just in the last game alone, a few of those times that that Garthar tried to find the lane on the Amumu was just pushed away and knocked out of that first part of it. So definitely very good awareness on the Syndra here, and continuing that into game 2, it does go nice. Speaking of Garthar, one thing I'm a bit interested in is that I was usually Rel prefers to start dismounted to get that bush control with the flip, but I mean, I also haven't seen Rel played Rel myself in about a million years, which was, when she came out. Actually, she's like very easy. Sometimes forget that champion exists, but regardless, a bit of an interesting decision there as Acid was there in the ball for a little bit, though not going to push that.
Yeah, so I think that the important thing to note for Rel as far as laning goes is that if you are dismounted, then you're better at counter engage, because then if thereby also lands a hook, then Garthar can just remount and find the knockup immediately. It comes out a lot faster, but there's a lot more range and AoE that comes through from the crash down. So if you're looking to go on the offensive, then you want to be in the mounted form so that you can go for that crash down, go for knockup on multiple members, and try to get all that AoE setup coming through.
Eaglebender just hit level 6, though. Hold on, we'll have enough damage to get yet another solo kill onto X-Craze. So very sudden, but one thing that I was just, yeah, sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, level 6, massive power spike for Syndra, and perhaps a bit unaware was X-Craze, and so even without using Flash, will be taken down in that 1v1 once more.
Yeah, and this is starting to become a problem. I mean, you can't just let yourself get solo killed like that and then expect to go even throughout the lane. If we check individual gold, it's already a 900 gold lead in favor of Eaglebender, and we're not even 6 minutes into the game. So around the rest of the map, it's pretty even. But if this mid lane continues to go like this, if Eaglebender picked up even one more solo kill, then this could just get very easily out of hand. I mean, there's once again a lot of tanks on the side of Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm, so there's some solace in that, where you're not going to probably have most of your members get one shot, but if you get your carries one shot, then it becomes that much more difficult to do damage. So Eaglebender once again going for this early game carry potential, maybe going to be able to hand it off in the mid game once again to one of the carries from a different lane. Even Acid going to be in a nice position this time around to carry on that Graves. So really a lot of different options here for OMT Chronos.
Yeah, and especially with the Graves having that
reverse damage profile between him and Eagle Bender, and especially with how on point Eagle Bender has been with landing these stuns, can definitely be very impactful in that 2v2 as once more will take a decent chunk of health off of X-Craze. All the while, speaking of Acid, the priority in the bot lane that we did kind of expect to happen will mean that First Drake will be going up to the side of OMT Chronos. More than likely going up to OMT Chronos.
Yeah, I mean, Data's kind of in the area, but not going to flash over the wall for that with no vision, so should be cleaned up here by Acid.
Hold on, X-Craze taken down in the solo kill once more. And out of the blue, maybe perhaps thought that Data would be able to get there quickly enough to have a gank there, but all that burst. And yeah, the Eagle Linder's going slowly starting to become of what was a slight problem into a very, very massive problem.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit too much familiarity here after game one as well, when similarly from the side of Crowstorm with being behind in the early game. So maybe that familiarity helps them adapt throughout the mid game, see what they want to change to try to get themselves in a better position to win. But just being down early always gives some problems where you're going to have a harder time collecting resources. Acid coming in here and stealing some enemy jungle camps, and it's hard to do anything about that when you're this far behind, especially when it's just one carry that's doing so much work. I mean, that gold lead that I talked about has already gotten past 1,000 now. And now the outside lanes of the map are going to start to feel the effects from this, because X-Craze is going to be locked down in mid lane, not going to be able to rotate very quickly at all. So that means that you're not able to get any of the nice things that you would expect from Ahri in an early game, where you can try to get some extra follow-up. The Spirit Rush gives the extra mobility to walk out to a side lane, but you can't do anything about the side lane if you can't do anything about your own lane.
Yeah, and as you're saying, especially because Ahri does definitely want to help out her two side lanes a bit more. Of this time around, you'd expect that to be more towards the bottom lane, as we get to see a nice little noodle fight in this in between Kinrick and Viban. Unfortunately, it's not looking like Kinrick's going to be picking up that AP Cho'Gath. And I give off a little sad cry, but here comes Thereby also, and that's going to be one more kill. Actually going to be picking up that one. Is the support now in shade of the top lane? Acid trying to find yet another kill, so 2 kills, not quite with the flash from Viban. Going to keep him alive there, but across the map, it's just once more complete dominance from OMT Chronos.
Yeah, they're beginning to be suffocating in a way that makes it difficult even to farm properly, for especially for X-Craze, but in general for the entirety of Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm. They're going to need to rotate their supports around. They're going to need to get everyone in line to make sure that when they go for things, even on their own side of the map, that they don't just get picked off and killed, because we've seen Acid invading. We've seen Thereby also rotating. They're going to pick up the Rift Herald here, and they're going to start rotating towards getting some more plates, extending this gold advantage. And not much that can be done about it right now from Crowstorm. And I appreciate this safe pathing from Thereby also.
Oh wait, speaking of, you say safe pathing, but here comes Garthar, living dangerously here. So he probably knows he doesn't have much damage available. Eagle Bender really just being tickled by X-Craze there. Now here's Brooks. Garthar trying to find his chance to get away. Bullet Time going to do quite a bit of work there early on, but is it enough? Will find a bit of damage there, but now there goes down the enemy ADC. Brooks as well as Thereby also killed off early on. I believe that was Data being able to smite that blue buff away, and it is, as I don't see Acid having that available to him. So really a good fight for Return of the Middlesticks despite their massive disadvantage.
Yeah, they don't get locked out of this game entirely. They don't get shut out. But I think that with the rotate down from Vivon, and they're going to be getting some extra damage as well onto this tower. So they're going to be in a decent spot. I mean, 2 for 1, or yeah, 2 for 1, not a bad trade at all, especially from the position they're in. Now with the Drake about to come up as well, we'll see if they're going
Oh
to
wait,
look
hold
towards
on, unstoppable force used onto the enemy mid laner. Eagle Bender shut down by Vibon on this Nautilus, and hold on, this is going to be an absolutely massive fight for the side of Return of the Middlesticks, showing once again that even though they might not have the best early game ability, it doesn't matter with all this just incredible coordination amongst their team and still keeping themselves in it with these last 2 fights.
Yeah, I really don't understand why Bender wanted to go in there. I mean, it's kind of a situation where Vibon was out of vision, but it wasn't too far removed from Vibon actually being under the tower, so they knew he was there.
Going to get locked up as the Infernal Drake does get taken, kind of just getting tickled now by the Zeri. There it is, the biggest snowball in the world. Does quite a bit to bring Acid back into this one. Garthar perhaps a little bit too dangerous with his positioning, and yeah, just gets bursted down by Eagle Bender, picking up yet another kill now for 1 and 2 on the Syndra, and with the Luden's, not Echo, Tempest. Yeah, definitely feeling very nicely there.
Yeah, still about a 1.5k gold lead coming through for OMT Chronos, so they haven't fallen that far behind, but now they have to deal with Benji Peach being 2-0-1 here on the Zeri. Zeri definitely going into the late game going to feel potentially even better than a Misfortune. I mean, we saw a lot of good ults in the last game from Benji Peach, but at some point it was just the case where being an immobile carry, he got jumped on. This time around, you don't have to worry about that because Zeri able to jump over those walls, able to navigate through a team fight quite effectively and very difficult to get on top of. So we'll see if that leads to Benji Peach getting even better carry.
There it is, a bunch of CC getting committed onto this top laner's Acid gets that kill there. And, well, I mean, there's not really much on the map to be taken, so that little extra gold will feel nice. Actually, hold on, Data is well going to be found out here, and biggest snowball in the world just going to roll that away.
Yeah, it's going to be another tower taken down here in the top lane. At some point, that mid-tier 1 got taken down, so 2 towers now in favor of OMT Chronos. They're going to be feeling quite nicely about that, thereby also, once again, rotating around the map. I really like that we're seeing a lot this game, the supports rotating around the map. I feel like bot lane hasn't been a highest priority area from either side. I mean, with the Misfortune, I'm a little surprised that Chronos hasn't tried a little bit more towards that. But then again, Acid is playing the Graves here. It's a little bit more difficult to get an effective gank out with the Graves in the early stages of the game. Now with ult available, still could go that way. But if there's not going to be a gank, then there's not a lot of necessity to have thereby also there either.
Does have flash available, still biggest snowball in the world is going to happen there, but it's still slightly a bit scary. And that mid lane, still holding on to that summoner spell, so at the end of the day, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, so just another attempt towards the mid lane this time around. Enough space for E-Girl Vendor to get out. Got vision over that top side river brush, so no more getting blind ulted by Vaughn or any other sort of engage that's going to immediately stop any escape from coming through. After that one slip up, E-Girl Bender has been right back out onto the map, right back out to collecting all these resources, and right back out to roaming towards bot lane now.
Yeah, not quite able to land that CC there. However, this time we'll have to flash away as we're looking at a potential 5v2. Eagle Bender already gone very low. Benji Peach getting that kill. So one massive priority target taken down and going onto the ADC, and the double kill now coming through for Benji Peach. And Return of the Middlesticks going to be feeling very good as a result of that. Already on the Triforce as well. Now with the low brain, you're so the Tiamat. How did I forget the name of Tiamat? I don't even know.
Well, anyways, Crowstorm definitely not giving up just yet, putting up a good fight here, keeping the gold lead right about 1.5k for OMT Chronos. Now looking to get the second Rift Herald of the game, try to get a tower of their own potentially. This could be a trade of objectives, but the way the series gone, I wouldn't be surprised either to see them fight it out. Looks like
Yeah,
the pings, though, are going to go towards the Drake, so OMT Chronos maybe just going to be doing a trade of objectives here, try to start stacking towards this Cloud Soul and see if they can continue their advantage through that.
Yeah, and with that far sight getting placed down there, is able to be seen. That X Craze is now going to be in a spot where I don't believe he can really get out here. Burned all the way down as Darabai also gets this first kill at the start of the game at the fight. Data going to try to find his way in, but all that damage from the bullet time is going to do a lot of work. That being said, I'm not sure if it is enough to have taken down Benji Peach just yet, who still managed to stay alive, but with as little support from his allies remaining. There it is, the Chomp shut down going on to Kinrick once he finally got into range there as the kiting was coming through. Flash Form Acid trying to find the kills of Vibon. Will get the slow from the red buff, and without the blast cone there, it'd be a little bit difficult for Acid to try to find the kill onto Vibon. Collateral damage extended, but won't see where he went and won't be able to quite get that there in time.
Yeah, no problem though. Still going to be able to take out the Drake. Pretty decent fight there. 3 for 2 in favor of OMT Chronos. And it was kind of a situation where it was a kill going over on Brooks in favor of Crowstorm, but after that, they kind of had all of their damage shot, and Egro Bender and Acid were still on the map. So it was a difficult situation for them to try to navigate the rest of the fight. Down their 2 damage carries, and at the end of the day, Acid not able to find that last kill onto Vibon, but it will be the second Drake going over as well. So pretty good fight for Chronos. They're going to be looking towards this Baron coming up in 50 seconds if any more fighting goes down. 2,000 gold lead, not enough to start like forcing it, but double marksman can kind of sneak a Baron pretty fast, so gotta be wary of that if you are Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm. You gotta know that you've got the ability to rotate towards that if ever you think that they're going to be on it.
Yeah, that being said, Misfortune not exactly the fastest neutral objective taker, and Graze is alright at doing that. So even though it is double marksman, it's not as not the craziest double marksman speed that you can grab, but either way, that's still feeling very definitely can sneak that. But that being said, Vision's still going to be largely in favor of not OMG Chronos, and Return to the Middlesticks in and around this Baron, so would have to wait for most likely a decisive team fight going over to OMT Chronos to really see that taken.
Yep, so we'll see if they end up fighting around the Vision here potentially. Middlestick's doing a very good job of making sure that they've got priority over the pit, but I think that they aren't going to be able to necessarily hold it unless they can find a pick. So they're doing a pretty good job of
picks.
but now
X might just be the one getting picked there, as Eagle Bender quickly picks up the first kill of this potential fight coming through, and with the Unleashed Teleport available to Kinrick, I don't believe they're not calling for the Baron just yet. So right now it's currently fine. So we just kind of get some aggressive position.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
I think we're
yeah,
good.
and meanwhile, Kenrick is in the bot lane, just taking that tower out. Going to be able to continue to push here as well, so he can go towards another tower. We could see 3 towers here potentially taken down.
There comes the teleport through. Dredgeline lands onto the Zeri, and layered with the bullet time, Kinrick gets the kill onto the enemy ADC, and once more trying to find yet a few more kills as both Vibon and Garthar are looking very low. There it is, double kill Kinrick. And now they're going to go over to the Baron after some very nice patient play to ensure that they're going to secure a very good advantage.
Yeah, a clutch hook there from Thereby, also able to find the engage onto Benji Peach, take out that most fed member. I mean, if you look at the gold on the side of Middlestick's Crowstorm, you can see that it's almost all on Benji Peach.
Oh wait, hold on. Unstoppable Force going to take out Eaglebender. So Vibon quickly starting off this fight strongly in favor of Return to the Middlesticks. Acid's gone low. Acid not quite taken down just yet as Data tries to find last few auto attacks. Vibon getting yet another shutdown. And as he's still on a lot of health, gets yet a third shutdown there. So all of a sudden, this Malphite's going to have a ton of golden with that Chompin, with all the members now up on the side of Return to Middlesticks. What was looking like going to be OMT Chronos' Baron has quickly flipped on its head, and yeah, I believe it's only, Thereby also is the only member of OMT Chronos alive, so this will be Baron going over to Middlesticks.
Yeah, Eaglebender going to be punished once again for some questionable positioning. Eaglebender's felt very confident throughout this series and tried to go for a lot of plays that many of them have worked. But with that positioning so far forward, just able to be ulted by a Vibon and immediately burst down. And we'll counterplay for that. So Eaglebender getting picked off. And then Data shows and throws down the absolute zero right in the middle of everyone. Just about as good an ult off as you can hope for as a Nunu. 2-1-8 now, feeling very good about the spot in this game. Now Thereby also looking for a pick.
Yeah, X-Craze going to be targeted, and without much of his team close by. Hold on, Eaglebender, a bit disrespectful with the positioning once more. Will be taken down before X-Craze can even be killed, and so currently in up to 5v4. There goes Kinrick getting the kill onto Data, but not enough damage to find the rest onto Benji Peach. And speaking of Benji Peach, still full health. Brooks trying to get away, not able to. Vibon getting that kill, and with all these members still alive on the side of Return to the Middlesticks Crowstorm, it is an absolute dominant fight here for the well, at least this Middlesticks team in the 5-4-1 even. Only losing that one, only losing Data in that fight.
Yeah, and finally Crowstorm in the lead for the first time of any game this series, and picking up that Drake means that we've evened out. I think that the position here is very strong for Crowstorm. I mean, Benji Peach now 7-2-5, going to be scaling up nicely into the late game. And I think that on the side of OMT Chronos, they need to reset themselves mentally. They've put themselves in a rough spot, and now they've got to work their way out from behind for the first time. So we'll see how they play it out, given that they've fallen behind here. And they have had a couple rough fights in a row, so they're going to have to switch up their tactics.
Yeah, you go into the positioning. Is how I've described the positioning in these last two fights. Definitely giving over a few kills that probably shouldn't have been, since he is pretty much the most fed member on his team with all that damage coming through. Without Eaglebender being available for the rest of these fights, it's definitely not the ideal situation you want to be in if you're out in Chronos still. And as we said, now for the first time this series, the goal advantage is on to OMT Chronos. However, X-Craze will get hit by the dredge line there. We'll be able to escape for a bit now. Acid. There goes Garthar, thereby also getting taken down by his enemy support. And that is a very decisive engage from Garthar. Gets that first kill, though I don't believe they'll be able to take much more without any neutral objectives on the mat. It'll be gold. It'll be more gold into their pockets.
Yeah, I think that picking X-Craze has proven to not be a worthwhile endeavor at this point. I think that it's very difficult to get on top of someone with Spirit Rush. And we were talking about in the last fight where X-Craze didn't have teammates close by. Well, teammates are a lot closer by if you can Spirit Rush towards them 3 times. So getting a lot of value there out of the Ahri pick. Now we're seeing why it's been so heavily favored throughout the season for Return of the Middlesticks and X-Craze. A very difficult and slippery champion to take down at this stage of the game. I think that throughout the rest of the game, hopefully thereby also will be able to get onto a member that's a little bit easier to follow up on, a little bit easier for the team to get in range of. But X-Craze, a lot of credit there for getting out, and then Garethar able to find the counter engage in perfect timing. Thereby also falls. And once again, we have a fight that goes favorably for Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm.
Yeah, and speaking of one thing, if we would take a look all the way all the way back to the start of this series, we were saying is that both these middle sticks or squads have clearly shown that they do have the mental capacity to go behind and reset themselves and really play the best they possibly can in any given situation. Hold on, thereby also going to find a lot of damage initially onto the enemy 80 carry shutdown going on to Eagle Bender, and without Benji Peach, hold on, this just might be the series because there's not a lot of damage remaining on the side of Middle Six. And hold on, it's a 5-man unstoppable force from Vibon. And will it be enough though? There's the first kill onto the enemy Misfortune. That being said, shutdown going over to Kinrick at the start of this fight. So with a lot of damage no longer available for both these teams, Vibon just standing in the middle of OMT Chronos. Acid has been found. Acid's been slowed, but with the extra kill from thereby also will keep his jungler alive for a little bit longer, jumping over that wall. Now Garthar going to be slowed though. Kinrick, one auto attack, maybe not quite enough there. Will pop the Gargoyle Stone Plate for that extra shield and health temporarily. And so we got at the end of that fight, just let Noodles slapping each other all over the place. And honestly, it was a bit more interesting than what people usually describe Wet Noodle fights as. And hold on, Garthar.
Quite the explosive beginning of the fight, but Vibon coming through with the big unstoppable force there, able to set the team up for the re-engage. And as you said, not a lot of damage available at the end of that fight, but we're seeing that these tanks definitely can do work at the beginning of the fight, especially on finishing off some of these squishies. So 3 for 2 in favor of Crowstorm. Now they can start to look potentially towards this Baron.
Yeah, they've started Baron. They know that they know that OMT Chronos are all in this bottom half of the map. So even though they have vision there, hold on, that's going to be X-Craze in a really position that is really not supposed to be in there. That being said, that does delay the shift over to this Baron a little bit longer. Kinrick now just walking in, trying to find if he can get the Devour onto the... It's stolen! Oh my dearie me, it's stolen by Acid with the smite, and it is a massive fight going over to OMT Chronos. And really against the run of play for these last few fights is going to be the Baron and the Drake. Actually, not quite. They didn't quite finish taking the Drake. I do apologize on that mistake on my part, but with taking down 4 members and Vibon being the only member left alive,
it could very much be the game.
Yeah,
this could be the series right now. I mean,
yeah,
they've got to wait pushing in towards the mid lane. The death timers, X-Craze are going to be up here in 5 seconds. Vibon is reset, but no unstoppable force available. Kenrick's too beefy.
Yeah, he's used that Gargoyle Stone Plate to get that little extra bit of survivability, but will it be enough? Shutdown going on to X-Craze at the start of this fight. Vibon now getting taken down with an exposed Nexus. Will it be enough though? Shutdown going over to Brooks as he's taken down, and now Zeri going to be running around with all this move speed. There it is, Eagle Bender getting killed, and once more, I believe Return to the Middle Six probably able to hold off just for now. Though they do have an exposed Nexus and will be in that sort of situation for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, so they're going to have a big hill to climb now going down in that fight. I think it was the wrong call to stay on the Baron. I think that they let Kenrick just stand there outside the pit for about 5 seconds before the rest of the team showed up, and they just needed to turn. They weren't able to burn it fast enough. Great smite from Acid to finish off the Baron, get that steal. Looks like it will be the 3rd Drake of the game going over to Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm, so they're going to have maybe one last win condition for themselves here if they can pick up that Cloud Soul. But I think that with the exposed Nexus, it's going to be very difficult to play out the macro the rest of the way through. And I'm expecting to see, if the game doesn't end, at least a big swing in the gold towards OMT Chronos here for the remainder of this Baron play, they should be able to get it out to 3, maybe 4,000 here on the gold advantage if they can take a couple more towers and a few enemy jungle camps.
If I don't dare say, is that at this point in the game, really a 1.5k gold lead really isn't that much with how many items that have come through. Being decided, we're positioning as if there's a dragon, but that was just taken not too long ago. Deathbush trying to be set up by the turn of the middle sticks there. Expert is not able to land that charm, so we'll just continue on with this siege in the bottom lane.
Yeah, so now with the Baron buff lasting a little bit longer, it should come down here within the next half of a minute. But they can look to crack another. Oh, it's just gone down now. So we'll see if they can crack.
Oh, wait, hold on. Garthar says, I'm going in. Going to do a lot of initial damage. And with Eagle Vendor going to use that. Zanya's bullet time not quite going to do a lot as Vibon comes through with the unstoppable force to cancel that out. Still alive are both ADCs. Benji Peach not quite able to find as much damage as we've been able to see him get him before, but he's doing a lot of work on the Kinrick. Kinrick, though, at the same time, I mean, look at how much damage he's managed to take up and the amount of time he's bought for the rest of his team. And with the exposed Nexus, I do believe that Return of the Middlesticks are going to just have to concede this tower here, because I don't quite know the health of that Nexus. And hold on, teleport from Kinrick. He's going to be full health now, coming through. Guys, yeah. Not going to do much more than that, except for take a little bit of poker. Benji Peach still feeling confident, now gaining move speed. Maybe?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, he's gonna just be cleaning out waves. How long does the lightning crash last this late in the game? I mean, he's been in it the entire team fight, and now all the way past. It looks like he is able to at least defend the base for now. They're able to keep their bot lane inhib tower alive, and pretty good, all things considered, there for returning the middle six Crowstorm to come out of that situation just about dead even. The gold lead has shrunk even since the beginning of that fight down to just 1,000. And as you said, Kenrick did a lot of work there in the front line of the fight, but it was a good job by Vibon to get the knockup onto Brooks with the unstoppable force. If it wasn't for that, I think the series would be already over by now. I think that the bullet time was set up to get 3, maybe 4 kills there, but that cancel is definitely important to holding the line. And then Benji Peach just able to clear out waves for days with that lightning crash.
Yeah, but speaking of clearing out waves, that's going to be another tower taken by OMT Chronos. We're just going back away from that one because without any neutral objectives on the map, but the Baron coming up in 40 seconds. They're probably just going to want to be able to create a vision advantage and force an unfavorable fight in these next whenever that does come through.
Yeah, so with the Drake coming up so soon after Baron spawns, I think that it's going to be a big priority to take down the Baron on spawn for OMT Chronos here, unless they feel like they can just 5v5 fight in the base and go for the Nexus right now. I think that you want to be able to make it a situation where it's not a trade of objectives. You want to be able to just take down one of the objectives yourself. Could just wait for that Drake to spawn and go there instead, but you definitely don't want to trade solo.
Right here, the biggest snowball in the world will come through. Unstoppable Force will find Eagle Bender early on, so immediately at the start of the fight, it's going to be Middlestick's favored, and it just might stay Middlestick's favored, as there's the Brooks getting charmed up. Benji Peach getting the double kill there. Actually, no, Vibon actually picked up that kill, but I don't believe that really matters all that much, as currently it's a 5v2. Kinrick, he's a big tanky boy, but how much is that really going to matter when Acid goes down and has 5 enemy team members to go against? Tries to get the chomp onto Data, but that is a clean sweep, or a clean ace, going over to Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm. And, you know, all 5 members, they, okay, turning to the Baron. They're turning to the Baron.
Yeah, they can get the Baron and the Soul here. This is great stuff from Crowstorm. They've got themselves in position where they can be about in an even state. They'll probably be more powerful, but they once again have no Nexus towers, so I think that just about evens it up from a macro perspective. But that means that with the Soul and with the Baron, it's going to be at least a couple minutes here where they have a big power lead, and they can try to get some more gold advantages. They now have 3,000 gold lead. They'll be looking to extend that further. A lot of towers still on the map to be taken down. They can get definitely this top tier 1 very low, and then the 2 tier 2s that are still left on the map as well, I'd expect them to take down. So they are going to be, at least for a little while, in a position where they're going to have the gold advantage and be able to utilize that. But we're starting to get closer and closer to a situation where we're going to have some full builds from these carries. We can already see Igor Bender on 4 items plus boots completed, and we can. And I
There
think
it
that
is.
once we get,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's LDR picked up. So you're speaking of full build. I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
So with that in mind, this is going to be the strongest point that's ever going to happen the rest of the game for Return of the Middle Six. So they need to get some work done now to make sure that they can hold on to what advantages that they have. I mean, that was a big fight coming through, but they're going to need 1 to 2 more huge fights like that to go their way. And if either of them, any of them go wrong,
to find Viban. Probably not the target you want to be throwing out the hook onto there. And that actually said it back way. Still, kind of see someone getting locked up. But yeah, no, back over you, Toby. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, as far as finding a pick on the Viban goes, if you
Oh
can
wait,
take
hold
him
on.
out,
Speaking of Viban, going to use that Zop Force quickly gets a kill onto the mini guys. 2 immediately going down on the side of OMT. Chronos no early advantage.
Still alive.
Yeah, they are, but Eagle Blender's getting barely low, uses the stopwatch, and there it is, 4 kills already going over to Return of the Middle Six Crowstorm, and they get yet another clean ace to take game 3. And as we were saying, Middle Six reverse sweep.
1 foot in the grave, but take it back out because it's going to be Crowstorm taking game number 3. They're going to be looking to set themselves up on position en route to potential reverse sweep. They're going to need to come up with a few more clutch performances, but they're able to hold the line at the Nexus and turn it back around here in game number 3 and get us to game number 4, give themselves a chance in this series. And well played there, especially by Vive on finding some huge unstoppable forces to help the team come out on top. And now we've got ourselves a game number 4. So the series right back up in the air, could go either way, and we'll see who's going to be able to take it down.
I'm taking a look at the Master Sheet. It hasn't been updated at all, so I'm not quite sure how the Nowhere Frost series is going down. But until we do get an update on that, I would like to believe that the double Middle Six reverse sweep is back on for 2 weeks in a row. But until we figure that one out, can't really confirm that. But as we have concluded game 3, we will send it to a break as we get ready for once more a game 4 for Return of the Middle Six Crowstorm. Don't go anywhere.
And we have not loaded, and we've getting ready for Game 4's draft between OMT Chronos and Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm. And unfortunately, in the, or I guess it's slightly biased to say unfortunately, but speaking of Middlesticks, there's the raid as they got swept. The Darkwind got swept in their other series. However, so even though the double Middlesticks reverse sweep not quite on the cards, is we've still continuing going on in this series, and after what was a relatively cleanly played Crowstorm matchup in game 1, or not game 1, in game 3, we still have a reverse sweep on the cards here in this series, Tiger.
Yeah, and I think that the Zeri priority is going to go up after that game 3. It's going to be OMT Chronos with the side select from here on out. Should they lose game 4, they would have it again for game 5. And with returning to blue side, they're going to be able to pick up that Zeri.
Yeah, and I mean, are you surprised, really? I'm not at all.
No, I'm not surprised. I think that seeing this Ahri come back would make some sense. I think X-Craze showed in that last game. The escapability factor is something that you can't ignore on the Ahri, and definitely a big comfort pick coming through. Going to be interesting to see if it's the Amumu or Nautilus, but Garethar definitely liking those engaged supports, so no surprise there. Going to just pick that one up so that they can maybe get some more counter picks later on. I think that with the Leona coming through here, this is going to be a situation where we could just get back to the misfortune on the other side, but it didn't work out in either of the previous games that it was played, so maybe it's going to be switched up instead to something that can match the scaling potentially.
Yeah, and with that being taken away, we'll see Jinx getting hovered by Crowstorm, looking to potentially take that away. And you're talking about scaling Jinx Zeri, two of the best ADCs currently, in the case of Jinx, really this whole year so far. But I don't. If you took me back to game 1, Benji Reach doesn't really have too many Jinx games under his belt, and well, even though game 1 was a complete stomp, so it might not be the best litmus test as for his ability on this champion. Still a bit, at least slightly concerning for me, just slightly.
Yeah, but I think that the biggest difference from game 1 to this point in the series is that the bans have shifted more towards trying to ban out Kenrick. And I think that while he played out the Cho'Gath to a pretty successful degree last game, that I think that having him on a pick that can carry a bruiser style pick is something that's been important throughout games 1 and 2. Get some extra threats that you have to deal with if you are returning the Middlesticks Crowstorm. So we'll see if they're going to stick with it, having Kenrick on a tank, or if they'll shift the focus maybe towards something where you can get him in a more powerful position. And this time it's going to be the Scion for Vibe, and after the Malphite and Ornn are taken away in the bans. So I think Scion definitely a little bit of a different style, still more of a weak side champion, but looking to go for the split push idea potentially more than the engage style.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid point. Hold on, Kha'Zix. Got a late hover on Kha'Zix. There it is.
Assets Kha'Zix.
That's right. Shoot, we haven't even got to see that this whole series, and it just completely left my mind that was a potential option. But yeah, Acid will get Kha'Zix, obviously his favorite champion, and combining that with Syndra in the mid lane, that mid jungle duo is looking really just incredible for the side of OMT Chronos.
Now, I will say that throughout the series, we've seen a lot of 3 tank comps from Return of the Middlesticks. So it's a lot.
You're cutting in and out.
A lot of value out of an assassin. But I think that with the assassin pickup being the Kha'Zix and its acid, I think that we're still going to get plenty of value out of that. You're going to be looking at getting some one shots. The Volibear comes through, another champion that's difficult to, but I think that acid being on this Kha'Zix, it's going to be a big opportunity to see just how powerful he is on the bug.
I think we kind of got an overall idea of what she said, but you were really kind of cutting in and out there for a bit. But yeah, obviously you just did say Kha'Zix. Acid's Kha'Zix, we'll finally get to see that. Maybe a little bit of a difficult composition to be played into. I also think with the Jinx getting locked in, one thing that I may have also liked to seeing throughout this game is that Vibon, usually things these weak side top laners plays a lot of these tanks, but Karma was available and does have quite a few games under his belt on the Karma. That being said, that Smite Karma top was a thing. Shoot. That's probably why he had games on Karma. I just thought of that myself. Never mind. But yeah, still overall, Sion, fairly interesting change up, even though not in terms of style anyway.
Yeah, I think that Sion makes a decent amount of sense given the bans onto Malphite and Ornn. Going to just be a solid champion in lane that's going to be difficult to pick on and try to get some extra pressure on the map for taking some of those towers, which is something that was a difficulty even in the last game from Crowstorm. They were able to overcome it because they got into that late game. We saw the big carry pants put on with the Malphite pick, but since the Malphite not available this time around, I think just having the Sion there in that side lane going to be doing some decent work. And I suppose that Sion could just be built in more of a team fight capacity as well, but I think that he's more powerful as a split pusher because of that passive, because of his ability to take down towers, because Hull Breaker exists. And we'll see how Vibon wants to play it out. But I think that with Zeri falling back in the hands of OMT Chronos, that's going to be feeling a little bit better going into the mid-late game for Brooks. And that's what they're going to be looking at to try to finish off this game, finish off this series.
Yeah, and with Zeri especially into 3 relatively, I wouldn't say completely immobile because, Nautilus does have the hook, Volibear run fast, Sion kind of train fast. Still will have that extra move speed, and if Brooks doesn't get completely removed from a fight early on as these games go on, as we've seen with Zeri, definitely becomes a really big problem. But with that, we have reached a spectator delay, and we are going to send it to a brink, but when we come back, we are going to be in Game 4 between OMT Chronos and Return of the Middle Six Crowstorm, with a potential series-ending game should OMT Chronos take it. We'll see you when we load on. we have loaded in for Game 4 between OMT Chronos and Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm, and the kind of story coming to this one is yet maybe another Middlesticks reverse sweep, as they did manage to take off Game 3 now.
Yep, they've been in this position before, definitely comfortable here, but Brooks on the Zeri going to be looking to finish things off before we get ourselves back to a Game 5. I think that it's going to be a little bit of a different look than last game. I think that the misfortune kind of signaled a lot of early power, but OMT Chronos wasn't exactly able to capitalize on that. However, we've got the same matchup in the mid lane as before, with Eagle Bender on Syndra and X-Grays on the Ahri. And that led to 3 solo kills last game. So we'll see if X-Grays plays this out a little bit more cautiously this time around. I do like the Volibear pickup for Data. I think that we've been seeing tanks from Data all the series long, but Volibear is a frontliner that has a lot more potential to carry. So given the fact that Data has been one of the big carries for the side of Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm throughout their run, I think that he's going to get an opportunity here to show off why that is.
Yeah, and being able to shut off turrets, making Ohm Wrecker an ability, it's no longer an item. Definitely going to feel good once they come to level 6. Going to be able to potentially even run down Brooks should the right angle appear. But either way, we're going to, one thing with the junglers is that Acid's Kha'Zix. You there? Oh,
Definitely no Kha'Zix. See if he's able to play it and get some kills early on. I think that the scaling this time around isn't going to be super favorable. I mean, there's still going to be some big carries. I mean, getting a pick onto Benji Peach is going to be absolutely massive in the late game, so still a lot of use for the Kha'Zix, even if it does get to the later stages of the game. But with such a big, it could be difficult to play out if you don't get a good flank off. So Acid going to have a high execution here on the Kha'Zix. We'll see if he can get it.
Well, as you were talking about there, speaking about potentially getting it done, through these few exchanges in the top lane between Vibon and Kinrick have been slightly favored towards, hold on, speaking of getting it done and Acid maybe not being able to, First Blood will go over to X-Craze really early on in the 2v2, the jungle mid duo.
Yeah, that's an absolutely fantastic ward there on the other side of the wall from the river, and that means Data knows exactly what's up. Acid not able to jump far enough to get away, and that means First Blood this time around going towards Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that's actually the first time we've seen that this series. I don't think Crowstorm have even managed to get a First Blood up until now, and we saw how when they did finally get a gold lead for the first time in the series last time out, that I mean, they definitely don't have a burden, or they are better at executing later as the game goes on. However, Vibon's looking low. Kinrick doesn't have too much mana left though. Will manage to get that first auto attack off, and there it is. Kinrick will get the kill onto Vibon in that gank, but meanwhile on the bot lane, Data knows that thereby also is going to try to go in. Benji Peach taken low and not quite able to get the slow onto thereby also there. So not quite going to be able to pick up that kill, but so a slight advantage coming over to OMT Chronos after that fight.
Yeah, slight amendment to something you said. Game 2, First Blood did go over to Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm. We had that big fight, if you remember. They had a 5v5 at level 1, and it went in favor of OMT Chronos. But the first kill of that fight, I do believe, went in favor of...
Oh, that's right, it was. Yeah, no, absolutely. Game 2. That's right.
But,
my bad.
Whatever the case, definitely a situation here where it's more early gold going on.
Hold on, wait, Eagle Bender, is he going to get yet another solo kill here? X-Cray's gone very low. Will be able to use the fancy feet there, but it won't be enough. You can't dodge auto attacks as Eagle Bender picks up yet another kill, solo kill in this mid lane. How many times have we said that tonight?
Oh, well, let me count. I think that it's got to be around 8 or 9. But
quite a bit,
it's been an absolutely fantastic performance from Eagle Bender in lane. We've talked about how some of the later game positioning has been troublesome out of Eagle Bender, but certainly not throughout the laning phase. Definitely making use out of Syndra's early power here. But this time, I think that having that early power on the Syndra is going to translate towards being able to pass it off to some more powerful carries in Acid's Kha'Zix and Brooks's Zeri. So we'll see if that's going to actually pan out for them. But I think that just getting these early kills for Eagle Bender is always something that you look at as a positive, and we'll see if he can keep it up going into the mid game.
Yeah, definitely not the cleanest last time around as the game went on, but we will expect these 1v1s have just really, I mean, Eagle Bender's just been dominant in these exchanges. I mean, already taking X-Craze down to half health, and now at level 6, will use Unleashed Power, and I do believe that was the, what is the small room that gives you the, oh, hold on, wait, we were straight up to the bot lane, thereby also going to get launched by the hook. So I believe that's going to be bot lane now. But with Drag coming up, that'll be first straight. Most likely going over to the Crowstorm. Rain, hello.
Yeah, it looks like it may be traded. It's still 40 seconds until it's going to be Rift Herald spawning, but Acid always looking for those always looking to get extra camps off the map and be able to down the red buff here. We'll see if he goes towards any ganks. Potentially on the mid lane, X-Craze pretty low, no ult, no flash.
Yeah, and without those tools available, being able to take a few of those camps now might look to just accelerate a bit more, and I don't believe there's a lot of respect from Acid. Does get that kill on the gank. I'm not sure if Eagle Bender actually got the assist there with how long it was in between the damage being taken. But either way, once more X-Craze going down in these fights, and it's something that we've seen happen just a bit too often so far this series.
Yeah, Data nearby the
Wait, hold on, thereby also looking to try to find his way onto Benji Peach. Flashing away now is the ADC of Crowstorm. Garthar getting very low, but here comes Data, and without those extra bits of damage coming through, oh wait, thereby also will get the kill in return onto Benji Peach. So without a way out there, probably the best he can to get as much back towards his side, but still really good gank from Data.
Yeah, a good right place at the right time, really, and able to pick up that kill. Brooks hit level 6, but wasn't able to channel the lightning crash before he went down. So good gank coming through from Data. Thereby also able to pick up the kill on the back end, though, on the Benji Peach. So it's not going to be a lot gained other than just that extra 300 gold going over to the jungler of Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm. Data going to be feeling pretty solid, 2-0-1 on the Volibear. Should be looking for some more ganks coming up, I would have to think. Garethar now on the roam as well, so maybe looking towards this Rift Herald.
I mean, you'd have to imagine that's exactly what they're looking forward to. I mean, that top lane's getting shoved in a massive wave over there, being pushed in by Vibon, and so any sort of reaction, I believe I would have to think that they would try to just give this, but there it is, thereby also getting locked up, not quite taken down just yet, deciding to go back in. Solar Flare going to not really do too much except for get a little bit of a stun, but not a lot of damage. Benji Peach now going to get caught out by Acid, but how much is that really going to do? X-Craze not quite going to go down just yet, and as the Dredge line lands onto Acid, it's going to currently be a 3v1 in favor of Return to the Middlesticks Crowstorm.
Yeah, 3-for-1 is going to feel really nice. Brooks absent from this fight, just taking plates in the bot lane, able to pick up 2, so if they're able to stop the Rift Herald entirely, I think that would be pretty even overall, but it's going to be turned back on here by returning the middle sticks Crowstorm, so they should be able to come out ahead on this trade as long as they can get a couple plates with this Rift Herald. Shouldn't be too hard to do so. Kenrick nearby though.
Henrik is nearby, but Garthar doesn't have that much mana now. Thereby also is going to try to find his way in. But here comes Benji Peach arriving as well. Acid going to get that kill onto the enemy jungler. Garthar using the Judge line to get out. However, Benji Peach going to get locked down by thereby also. So quickly, that's 2 kills getting turned back around. The Dredge line going to do a bit of damage. Here comes X-Craze though. Kenrick's charmed. Won't be able to dodge that one as X-Craze gets a kill coming back his way. And so even though maybe not the best laner, still showing that he's got it around the map on macro sort of play. And hold on, Acid's going to get charmed up and not going to look for the rest of that fight.
Can we look at individual gold for a second? Because Brooks has just been in the bot lane this whole time, taking farm, taking turret plates, has gotten 3, and is now over 1,000 ahead of Benji Peach, despite not having any kills or any participation at all in that fight. So I think that's going to feel really nice. At least for the time being, it's about a 1.5k gold lead in favor of OMT Chronos. I think that's going to be neutralized to some degree by the fact that data...
Oh, wait, hold on. X-Craze is going to cancel the recall, but I'm not sure how advisable this is because here comes Acid. Not quite going to be able to land that damage, and there it is. Acid going to get the kill onto X-Craze. X-Craze a bit dangerous. There it is. Super Mega Death Rocket American Sniper from Benji Peach. We'll get that one, and as he gets excited at the start of this fight, I don't believe this is one that you want to take if you're the side of OMT Chronos, as that Solar Flare will just flat out miss. Brooks now getting snared up. Data's here for the stun, and that is another kill going over to Benji Peach in the bot lane.
Yeah, so Benji Peach able to pick up a couple
kills.
Hold
on,
now.
Yeah, here comes Acid. Garthar really doesn't have much health left. Acid, obviously extremely fed, flashes forward, gets the kill onto the enemy AD carry. Garthar's just going to run away, and I don't believe there's really much that Data can do, as, hold on, we'll take Acid down quite a bit, but just so much damage now available on this Kha'Zix, as he's already sitting on the Eclipse.
Yeah, perfect timing for Acid, and this is why he's so notorious for this Kha'Zix. Able to go up to 6-2-2 now. Already completed the first item. Going to be looking potentially continuing to just take these fights. I mean, why not? Right now he's able to take out just about anyone on the enemy team. And he's not being stopped from doing so. So Acid definitely in a very strong spot right now. Could look towards this Drake pretty soon. With the prio here in the bot side that Brooks has been gaining all along, could be able to get that. But right now, just going to be setting up. Could be a team fight here as well.
I mean, I honestly, I would kind of hope that this just gets conceded by return of the middle sticks, because they do have this Drake, and they might just be able to take a tower for themselves, or at least quite a few plates. And you see, in exchange for a relatively not that important dragon, I would have to say that's really strongly favored. There it is. It is going to be the Drake taken, but here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Choo-choo goes Vibon, but not quite able to find any kills just yet. X-Craze got very low. Actually, I do tell a lie. Thereby also went down in that fight. But that can make a little bit more time in this top lane to maybe take a turret for themselves.
Blue team's turret.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a trade. It looks like the first one can go in favor of X-Craze in the bot lane, but Kenrick should be able to follow it up pretty soon. Hopefully not overextending too much to take it. Should be all right here, though. So a trade of towers, a trade of objectives so far across the map. It's very even. Just a little bit of a gold lead coming through based off of all those plates that went down in favor of Brooks in the bot lane. So I think that right now, both teams probably feeling pretty comfortable with the spot they're in. Benji Peach starting to get that scaling coming through. I mean, those kills have completely reversed the gold lead that was in the bot lane. Now Benji Peach with a slight advantage. But the rest of the map, with Acid being so fed, is going to still be feeling very nice for OMT Chronos.
Yeah, Acid obviously very huge, sitting on 2.5 items right now. I mean, this guy finds any sort of isolated target, that's pretty much just going to be it for them, even if it is one of the more tanky members of Return to the Middle Sticks. Because really, just look at how the gold lead that this man has on him. And as he takes out that, I'm going to extend a little bit more there, but yeah, definitely Acid's one of these players to watch through these next few minutes, because I and you, I would assume, believe that this is going to be pretty much the spot we're going to have to look at.
Yeah, well, the mid lane is starting to be sieged out here by OMT Chronos. They're going to be able to take down the tier 1. They may be trading for a top tier 1 potentially, but we could see thereby also
Brooks. Yeah, Garthar will quickly lock up Brooks, and so that's the enemy ADC down for Return of the Middle Sticks. That being said, Data's in behind here a bit too far. Stunned up. Acid does so much damage, takes out a big chunk from the enemy jungler, and all the while that is going to be Garthar taken down as well. Benji Peach with little health left. I'm not sure there's much he can do. Acid invisible, won't quite find the initial damage on the jump, but will get the kill there onto Benji Peach. So now it is a really well taken fight from OMT Chronos.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to continue to get down some towers, maybe just going towards the Rift Herald instead. Should be able to pick that one up with relative ease. Well, I guess they've decided to just reset, despite getting those extra members on the map. The respawn timer's not too long, so I guess I'm okay with that. I would have liked to see them at least go for that Rift Herald, but second Rift, definitely less prioritized by most teams than the first Rift Herald is. So we'll see if the reset is going to allow Acid to be even better in a carry position, as that Umbral Glaive is now complete.
Well, speaking of being in a carry position, that's going to be another landed hook from Garthar onto an enemy carry, though not enough damage in support to really follow up that fight and kick it off there. But either way, still showing that he does have the awareness. And as you were saying, with the Rift Herald being perhaps taken by OMT Chronos, thereby also going to get spotted out on this pixel bush. Which I'm getting fairly low, and I would have to say that this is most likely. I mean, surely they conceded here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be pushing this mid wave forward, trying to not allow the tier 2 to be immediately focused, but we could get a fight here very easily.
Actually, yeah, there it is! Going to be the two-man solar flare going to come down onto Benji Peach to start off this fight, is thereby also lots of damage coming through from the enemy ADC, but not quite enough to find any kills. Oh, dearie me, Vibon doesn't quite find anybody there, and actually, that is a bit too far forward. X-Craze going down, Devour used by Kinrick. It's getting a little bit bigger now. Started to feel nice, and here comes Acid, sees a low Vibon, gets that kill. Now looking for the enemy jungler. Won't quite get Garthar. Actually, the burn will be enough. However, that's going to be Benji Peach getting excited, and with all these low health bars and that passive resetting, won't quite find the auto attacks he needs to get yet another kill. But that being said, when Jinx starts getting a few of these kills, even though right now I'd say it is still strongly OMT Chronos favored, you can never quite write out Jinx, and especially with how Benji Peach has been playing this series, you really cannot completely ignore that.
Yeah, X-Craze maybe gonna look to contest here.
Yeah, a bit of a dangerous area to be in. Silenced up. Here comes Vibon now as well. Lots of teleports committed. Won't quite find any knockups though. Being said, Acid still takes a decent. Oh, X-Craze, dear. That you hate to see that. You really do hate to see that. Flashing into the wall and able to find the charm. It actually might go down because of it. There it is. Acid picking up yet another kill is legendary. And as the solar flare does come through, the shutdown does go onto the Volibear, but that is Data also going down as a teleport from Brooks, going to finally, actually not teleport from Brooks, what am I talking about? Teleport from Kinrig. Brooks casting the ultimate to start off this fight, or not start off this fight, in the middle of this fight, to try to find any bit of extra damage. Vibon will be taken down by Kinrick on the Valley. So with all these stacks coming through on Kinrick, he's starting to get bigger and bigger. Now, how many Devour stacks? He's sitting on seven feast stacks, as it is. So getting bigger now.
Yeah, Brooks is finally starting to get some room to do some damage throughout these fights. Able to come up big at the end of that fight, as well as the teleport coming in from Kenrick, quite important there on the front line. But I think that we're in a position where even though Acid got shut down there, that going on to Data isn't actually quite so helpful. I mean, Data's building very tank focused here right now, not going to be doing a huge amount of damage, not having any of the AP build that sometimes you see on some of the Volibears, which I think is just fine in this situation, but that means that the shutdown going over to him is not going to be nearly as helpful as if it went over to X-Craze or Benji. But I think that right now we're also seeing that it's going to be very difficult for Crowstorm to play out an entire fight without someone on the enemy team popping off anyways. I mean, we saw some good
Wait,
stuff.
hold on. Speaking of mispositioning, Eagle Bender once more will be caught out as Benji picks up the first kill to kick off this fight. And with four members in the mid lane, they maybe try to find a few more kills here, though. One quite down for a little bit longer, but with the extra member on the field inside, there it is. The hook will land onto the enemy Cho'Gath Kenrick, but now down to about half health. Obviously very tanky at this point. Oh, but another hook. Garthar, man, jeez, he is absolutely going off with these dredge lines. Currently, everybody also trying to find the action. Oh my god, Garthar finds the hook onto Brooks. That's 4 in a row. 4 incredible hooks from Garthar. And even though he might not be doing the most damage right now, Garthar absolutely pops off. Does an incredible job in that next fight. Kenrick not going to be able to take down the Cho'Gath now, as Kenrick actually can find his way back in onto Garthar, though. Without that extra auto attack, Garthar will be okay. I do believe the rest of this fight probably over just about now, as Eco Bender has already come back up. Garthar in that bush will get the recall off, and so with that, both these teams will start to head out away from each other.
Yeah, Acid saves the day there as far as that fight goes. For OMT, Chronos was able to hop over the wall and find the kill onto Benji Peach there. Otherwise, I think that that's very heavily favored for Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm, but I still think a good fight from Crowstorm. They're going to be feeling nice after coming out, delivering a pretty big punch there. They're still behind by about 3,500 gold, but right now the fights are looking solid for Crowstorm. They should feel confident if they go into a 5v5, as long as they can keep.
You were saying that they were looking into the 5v5. That's going to be the Stormbringer already used from Data. Garthar now going to flash away. Benji Peach spotted out. Here comes Acid trying to find the kill onto the enemy ADC. Isn't enough. There it is. Eagle Bender gets the first kill onto Benji Peach, and as the stun comes through, that's going to be X-Craze going down as well, and Brooks hopping over because Zeri's fun and balanced. There it is, double kill going over to Acid, and with fair enough, that'll be a 24-minute Baron going over to OMT Chronos.
Yeah, it should be able to be picked up here. The gold lead expanding over 5,000, should be 6,000 with the Baron take. Going to be a very difficult position for Crowstorm, but they were in a similar spot last game, so they definitely got the chops to come from behind. They've got the Jinx available. They can definitely look to scale for late. A lot more difficult to say that they necessarily have the better late game this time around, but they still have a strong late game to look towards. But right now, down about 6,500 gold. They'll be looking to just gather some resources for a little while, hopefully not give over the Ocean Soul too fast, as it's 2 Drakes already taken, another one's on the map, so we could be within 5 minutes of an Ocean Soul, but the Drakes do have to be taken, and it looks like there's Crowstorm ready to contest.
Yeah, they will have this bush kind of warded out with that pink ward, so no vision there. Though OMT Chronos do know that there are at least some enemy team members kind of sitting there, as Vibon just going.
Look at this flank thereby also.
Yeah, thereby also definitely sitting up on towards the more northern. Well, I guess northern's towards the top of the screen in terms of League of Legends, right? Generally, that's how people will describe it. But
now we got another fight
much there. Yeah, here comes Data. Will find that hook now from Garthar onto Acid. Is it enough damage though? No, it's not. And quickly, it is going to be an absolute routing from OMT Chronos as they get what is a near clean ace. Actually, no, it is a clean ace. And yeah, they're actually just heading straight over to this mid tower. So Soul Point and yet a mid 2 tier going down. It is starting to look like the writing is on the walls for Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm.
Well, we could have almost said that last game at 1.2.
That is true.
It's going to be an going on here. So the Baron buff still up for OMT Chronos. They're going to be able to take out the inhib. They're on Soul Point as well, so they've got a lot of valid win conditions coming up. And they're over a 10,000 gold lead, over 11,000 now as they take a couple more towers. And right now, Acid is just doing too much work. And throughout that fight, I think that it was very important that Brooks was able to evade Data at the beginning, able to hop over that wall and then throw down the lightning crash. And then no one was really able to touch Brooks throughout that entire fight. So he's just firing away with that machine gun for free, able to pick up full kills at the beginning of the fight. And then Acid able to survive the engage as well. Able to turn it into a sweep 5-0. They're able to take down the Drake and push towards the enemy base.
Yeah, and well, as we've seen, is that Middlesex definitely do have the ability to come out ahead in these team fights, even when down so much gold. They've certainly proven it over the years. Actually, hold on, here comes Acid, charmed up. Acid, what are you doing there? Super Mega Death Rocket does quite a bit of damage. Acid getting burned down, now getting slowed. There it is, shutdown going on to X-Craze here. Starts on the fight, and Brooks getting slowed up. The hook comes through, Brooks locked down, Brooks taken off the map, and quickly that is 2 key kills going over to the side of Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm.
Yeah, that's kind of random coming out from OMT Chronos. Like, they just have people in weird places. I mean, I can understand why you would think from the perspective of Acid that...
Hold on, flash forward from Garthar. That being said, the stopwatch available thereby also gets the kill down, and actually there's a kill from Eaglebender landing onto the enemy ADC, and here comes Kinrick. There's not really anywhere else X-Craze can go, as surely he's going to go down now, thereby also going to be claiming that one, and it's a good counter from the side of OMT Chronos.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive there. Garithar has been finding so many hooks this game. Finds another one there, but this time it was the poisoned hook. Zonia's coming out from Eaglebender, buys so much time, and I don't think that the aggro juggling was very good either, because I think that as soon as the first kill went down onto Garithar, it was Benji Peach that started taking the damage from the tower. And that meant that the Solar Flare was so much more valuable than it would have otherwise been, because Benji Peach just no way to get out of that combo. Ends up dying to another tower shot coming down. And all in all, a 3-for-1 in favor of OMT Chronos, despite the fact that it was an attempted dive in a 4v2 matchup.
Yeah, perhaps not being all that aware of the enemy itemization, especially on Eaglebender being able to avoid a lot of that damage coming through. But for the time being, we don't have really too many neutral objectives on the map. So if we take a look back at the situation at hand, I mean, I guess slightly cutting back into that deficit is now on Crowstorm, but still 10k gold, really not the best situation to be in usually.
Yeah, so we'll see if they're able to find any more picks. Acid goes right back to the scene of the crime, and this time around, no one going to be able to take him out there. He's got that Umbral Glaive, so he's very difficult to find with the Blackout passive, but I think that now pushing towards this top tier 2 is going to be the next objective. 50 seconds on Drake, 10 seconds now on the Baron, so we'll see if they end up fighting over any objectives as well very soon.
Yeah, and with their pick of the litter, and in the case of OMT Chronos, really
they can force any sort of objective. I would have to say at this point, maybe the Super Mega Death Rocket going to go the scouting ultimate. You know, you got to get vision over the Baron to see if they're going to try to start that up, but without anyone there, that's going to be one ultimate no longer available for any potential upcoming.
Yeah, I think that before the next fight breaks,
Garthar uses the Hex Flash to go over, will find Acid, but I'm not sure how much damage is going to come through. Dredgeline, is it enough? No, it's not. Kenrick going to get the kill onto the enemy support, and to start off this fight, Data now going down, Vibon as well. With all these members down, you have to feel that surely it's going to be OMT Chronos not going to live up to the prophecy of yet another middle sticks reverse sweep as they take down all 5 enemy team members with the wave pushing through mid. And actually, oh wait, that's the inhibitor. Maybe not over just yet as well if it slows them down enough. I'm not sure how likely that is to be though. Here we go, yeah.
Kenrick's got like 6,000 in health. This shouldn't be a problem even without a wave. And it's going to be OMT Chronos returning to the finals. Last season they got taken out in the semifinals, but this time around it's going to be the Season 1 champions looking to reclaim their throne. And OMT Chronos take the series 3-1 over Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm with a very convincing performance here in game number 4.
Yeah, and so with that result in the books, we will have for next week the final between OMT Chronos and No Org Frost coming through. And congratulations to OMT Chronos. They definitely played that incredibly. But, you know, Return of the Middle Sticks Crowstorm, I definitely believe they can hold their heads high after that one, especially considering a few of those games.
Yeah. And I mean, anytime that you get to the semifinals, you're one of the top teams for sure. Out of 32 teams, only 4 of them get to make it to semifinals. There's going to be a third place match next week. Going to be between both of the Return of the Middle Sticks org teams, so that should be a fun one. And then going into the finals, we're looking at OMT Chronos versus No Org Frost, so that should definitely be one to tune in for. And coming up next week, that's going to be the last week of the season. So definitely got to be excited about that. With the finals coming up, though, I think that this closes the chapter of the semifinals. I'm not sure if we've got an interview today. We'll have to verify that with production about whether we're getting one of those or not. But a great series here today for us, 3-1 in favor of OMT Chronos.
Yeah, and you know, they were starting to look like they were going to fold to there. And honestly, I just for the repeat the scenario going into a potential game 5, I was kind of hoping that Middle Sticks would have at least sent us to game 5, but unfortunately that's not the case. And I think we're going to throw it to a break now. I'm not sure, we're still not sure as to whether or not we'll get interviews, but we'll have that information for you when we do. So maybe this is it. Maybe we'll have an interview next. Who knows? We'll wait. No, there we go. We've got somebody in now. Joining room. Who's this joining?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Which goon are you?
I am the e-girl Bender, the X-Craze Bender.
Nice. Welcome in. Well, that answers our question of whether or not we're going to have an interview or not, because here it is.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Well, Ego Bender, that was quite an effective stream. You played the Syndra to highest degree of effectiveness, getting a lot of solo kills. So what sort of idea did you have coming in that Syndra was what you wanted to match up against the Ahri?
Yeah, so they played a lot of Syndra. X-Grays plays a lot of Syndra. And game 1, our plan for blue side was always to be 3 Syndra. But I thought, game 1, I thought if they like go R2 Syndra, then I can just play Vex into it. Because I think Syndra shits on Vex, but none of these players are good enough to punish me on it. So I just go Vex. And then after I won the Vex versus Syndra matchup, I just figured I can play pretty much anything into him. I don't think it'll matter. And yeah, Syndra. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, they're the ones that were trolling. I don't even think it was. I could have picked anything, but the prio they put on Ari was just troll.
All right. Well, definitely we saw some of the value of Ari in game number 3, but with game 3 going a little bit sideways, going over to Return of the Middlesticks Crowstorm. After game 3, what were the comms going into game 4? What was the mental reset that had to happen there?
Game 3, I don't want to make Johns or excuses or whatever, but I was just starving game 3. Like I literally could not focus.
Food gap.
It is a food gap. I had like a migraine. Literally that whole game is just me getting caught 24/7 by Malphite, not flashing it, not zoniazing it. So after game 3, just took a break. I just shoved a bunch of chips down my throat. I ate a lot, and then game 4, we just knew, if we play standard, we're just gonna win. Don't have to do anything special. Just as long as my brain works, we're good.
There you have it. The secret to success is taking a potato chip and eating
Exactly.
it. And definitely worked out well for you there in game 4. Now, looking forward to next week, you've got a matchup against No
Easy
Org
3-0.
Frost. Easy 3-0?
Easy
All right.
3-0.
I like it. I like it.
Would you have said easy 3-0 coming into this series too?
Yeah. I mean, it should have been an easy 3-0, but, food gap.
Food gap. Literally not fed.
Exactly. True. I was fed in game, but not IRL. That's my problem.
It happens. But before we send you out, do you prefer Nick or or Ego Bender as the addressing?
I prefer to be addressed as a world champion, please.
True. Yes. Literal
Hey,
world
you
champion.
gotta earn it first. You're not the
Literal world
defending
champions. We're on our
champion
way.
right now.
Well, we're gonna
Close, we're getting close here.
Frost, and then we're gonna make it into to the Worlds. Unfortunately, could not go undefeated all the way through playoffs, but Norg Frost is gonna feel what it's like to get 3-0'd, so it's gonna be pretty fun.
All right. Well, we're going to look forward to that next week, but for tonight, we are going to send it out. Thank you for tuning in. I've been sun praising. Alongside me has been Tiger. Behind the scene, doing all the production was Wookie Monster, and really appreciate that from him. And for everybody else at Runeterra Academy, for just organizing everything. And well, we'll see you next week, and actually see you too next week.
True.
Yeah.